you want. Apparently, I didn't turn the webcam on, so sorry about that, guys.
Yeah,
anyway, there it is now.
I sincerely hope everything settles down in the Bitcoin sphere. It's
oh no, there's another hard fork on the way.
I know, but
in November.
Yeah. Well, what's that one about?
So that's where there's the main chain, or whatever you want to call it.
Bitcoin's getting all forked up.
Yeah, sure is. The main chain is going to fork to a 2 megabyte size increase, but there are a bunch of people who don't want to see that happen. So the purists who are against increasing the block size may decide to keep their little version of Bitcoin going on, and so we may end up having 3 Bitcoins come in November.
I really have a difficult time understanding what those people's argument would be. The small blockers, the argument that the block should be kept small. So
I don't know.
In the absence of a Bitcoin competitor, I can see why you would say small block's not a big idea, not a big deal. But once there is an option for lower fees, are people not going to choose the option that has lower fees? If you decide I want to send money to someone for $2, or I want to send money to someone for 50 cents, and I would get the same, I'm going to get the same service, and the only difference is price. Will not people choose the lower
option.
price?
Of course they will.
I mean, it's my understanding there are basically 3 things when it comes to purchasing. There's there's price, there's quality, and there's speed of delivery. And if your quality and speed of delivery is the same, but your price is higher, your butt is in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you can provide faster service, if like Dash does, resolutions every 2.5 minutes, if you can provide a higher quality service, and I'm not sure how you provide a higher quality service in the area of in the cryptosphere, then you'll be better off. But if you're just providing the same service at a higher price, that's just a recipe for going out of business.
Yeah, and I had a discussion actually on a local chat group that we had here with Chris, who is our Friday night co-host. He should be joining us this week, actually, about the Bitcoin fees. And he's just completely he doesn't believe that the big fees are a problem. Like, he just doesn't even see that they're a problem, and he even went so far as to say that the average customer won't notice. I'm like, yes, they will. They are going to notice. When you go to send a transaction on most good wallets, most good Bitcoin wallets, it's going to tell you what the recommended fee amount is on that. And the real good ones will tell you, how much in US dollars that costs. And when you're looking at sending a $5 transaction for a 50-cent fee, that's going to make some people think twice. So yes, if this new Bitcoin, this Bitcoin Cash, as it's being called, actually does succeed at lowering the fees back down to the levels that we remember from 2 or 3 years ago, with like 2 cents being kind of the maximum fee.
Right.
I don't even know if that's possible, because some people are saying that's not even possible anymore. Say goodbye to all these, low fees, because as long as the Bitcoin price is high, even a very small fee in Bitcoin terms will still be a fair amount of US cents. So, who knows if it's even possible to get down to those levels again, especially if the price of Bitcoin Cash, I mean, maybe it would be at $400 Bitcoin Cash, but if Bitcoin Cash becomes $1,200, $2,000, $2,500, then the question is, could they even get the fees below 10 cents or 15 cents per transaction? So will there ever be a microtransaction marketplace in Bitcoin again, or has that just been simply wiped out due to the success of Bitcoin? I don't know. I don't know what's possible with these new technical changes.
I hope that we get some currency out there for micropayments, something where the...
Oh, we've got that. It's called IOTA.
Yeah, hopefully that is, whatever. What I really would like to see is a world where instead of giving a like on an article, like on Facebook when you get a little thumbs up for reading the article, that you can, your thumbs up costs you something. And I'm not talking about a lot. Like 3 cents, 5 cents, or something like that.
Well, they actually have something better than that. It's called Steemit. Steemit.com, Steemit.com. There, you can vote up people's articles or submissions or whatever it is they write up, and those people will be given cryptocurrency called Steem, and that comes out of basically nowhere. It's being mined into existence simply by virtue of my understanding, by virtue of the fact of people using the system brings more of this stuff into existence. So by participating on Steemit over the last year, because I've been there for a year now, just sort of reposting most of the stuff. Every now and then I'll put something unique on Steemit that's just posted on Steemit, but most of it's just reposts from my free Keen blogs. I'll pull in like $5 to $10 worth of Steemit on any given blog post. It's not a whole lot, but it's more than I've ever made doing blog posts anywhere else. So that already exists, Mark.
Yeah,
what you're talking about.
It works for the people who are the early adopters of Steemit. I went in there and I've posted a couple of things, but I never got any traction. So when I like something, it doesn't go anywhere. And it's never done anything for me.
Yeah,
so
well, you got to do more than a couple of articles. You got to spend some more time on it. But I get what you're saying.
But you're talking about posting blogs. I don't want to. Like, social media isn't blog posting to me. It's picture posting.
It's not just blog posting. You can just post. There's a pictures section there. You don't have to write a lengthy blog.
Is that worth doing? Is that worth moving off of Facebook for? Because I haven't really felt that.
If you're getting paid, then it's worth doing it.
Am I? I haven't ever gotten paid anything on Steemit.
That's because you only did it twice.
I've done it more than that, I think.
Okay.
Not much more.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe 4 times.
I mean, there's no guarantees or anything like that, but the more vote-ups you get, the more you get. It may only be a few cents, but it's still more than you're getting on Facebook.
You mentioned something called IOTA. What is that?
So that is the Internet of Things.
Oh, okay.
There is a currency now for the Internet of Things that they came up with. It recently had broken into the top 10, so if you go to coincap.io, it's probably, last I looked, it was like 6 or 7. And basically, it's the dustiest of dust currencies, meaning that you may remember Dogecoin, which came out several years ago. Dogecoin was sort of this joke competitor to Bitcoin, like they made a billion of, or several billion, or quintillion. I don't know how many Dogecoin there are. It's quite a few. But this is even dustier than that. When you go and you buy one of these IOTA, you're actually buying an M IOTA, a million IOTA. So when you spend, right now, I think it's about, 28 cents for a million IOTA. And they made, of the IOTA, there are 2 billion million. So there's 2.7 billion million IOTA, however many, whatever you call that.
I wonder how many Bitcoin there are when you can break it down into the actual fractions. I know there's 21 million. There can be 21 million total, but
but there's 8 decimal
fractions.
points.
And
there's decimal points on the IOTA as well. I think maybe I'm wrong about that, but there's a lot of these things.
Do you own any of those?
I got some of them. Yeah, just because I thought it was a cool idea.
Have you ever given one?
Actually, I was giving away 10 million IOTA to anybody in the local decentralized currency network who had asked for it the other day.
I haven't given 1 IOTA.
Oh. So the thing that makes this different, though...
I wonder if they knew that when they named that, if they were thinking about, give an IOTA.
The thing that makes this one different, though, Johnson, is that it is supposedly designed to scale in the future. And the way they've done that is if you want to send a transaction on the IOTA network, your node has to solve 2 open transactions.
Which is great.
So meaning that, no matter how many new transactions there are requested, all the other ones that are waiting are going to get solved. So it will scale, supposedly, because of this. The more transactions that there are happening, the quicker they end up getting processed.
Right.
So not only is IOTA supposed to scale appropriately with whatever the demand in the marketplace is, but it's also supposed to be more secure because, the larger it gets, the better it is. And they have this thing called the Tangle, which is a completely different setup than a blockchain. So, they've done a lot of different stuff with this that really kind of makes it interesting and very, very unique. And again, it's designed for this sort of machine-level Internet of Things economy that's supposed to, exist at some point. More coming up here, 855, 450, free like freedom. This is Free Talk Live.
Do you want to help build a better financial system for everyone? Join Dash. Dash is Digital Cash, a digital money platform designed to replace cash and help people manage their own wealth. It's fast and easy, fees are low, and transactions are confirmed instantly. Dash is decentralized, run by users who earn rewards for helping run the network and make governance decisions. Dash is set up to succeed where other platforms have failed. Give it a try at dash.org. Help people take control over their financial future today. Find out more at dash.org.
Imagine, if you will, a virtual world, a symbiotic economy with its own currency, where you can barter your services with others. Symbi.com is a marketplace of real people exchanging skills and services, from web developers, marketers, video production specialists, and teachers of all sorts, to gaming consulting or fitness coaching. Symbi.com is a vast world of people trading freely. Take my word for it, it's an adventure you can't afford to miss. Simbi.com.
BuySellMakeOffer.com is better than ever. I'm Pat Matthews, here to tell you that BuySellMakeOffer.com, the revolutionary site for buying and selling anything and everything, just upped the ante. Go right now to BuySellMakeOffer.com and click the Sign Me Up button. When you do, you'll get the first month free, and then it's just $9.95 a month to be a member forever. And you don't need a credit card for the initial setup. Create your own store on the site and sell whatever you want, as long as it's legal, however you want, and sell an unlimited number of items. Create your own intro video to describe what your store is all about. Use Skype to see who you're buying from or selling to. Sell unused household items, as well as antiques, cars, televisions, collectibles, real estate. The possibilities are unlimited. Use social networks to promote your store right from our site. Remember, there are never any fees, no matter how much you sell. Become a member today. I'm a member. Get all your friends to sign up, too. This could become a great business for you. Sell whatever you want for the first 30 days, free at BuySellMakeOffer.com.
I've been told no in many different ways.
I give you an order and you're going to obey it.
Who told you to go this way? You can do that and you have to leave here.
You cannot bring signs into the rally.
Walk with me.
Well, I'm comfortable here, actually. Whoa, hey.
Who do you think you are?
Excuse me.
There is no video and audio allowed in this office.
No, I have work today.
You ain't gonna make it.
Wait
on account. Now.
a minute.
Hey! Oh my God! Unbelievable!
Why are you running from me?
Because you scared me.
You
What am I being detained for?
You're being served.
What is this?
You're being served.
What is this? Bureaucrats have a funny way of telling people no.
That's the sound of the men working on the chain.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. DVD, books, music, instruments, periodicals, computers, software, electronics, photo, cell phone, office products, home and garden, bed and bath, furniture, kitchen, pet supplies, automotive, hardware, apparel, shoes, jewelry, grocery, healthcare, sports and outdoors, toys, games, used, and more. It's a department store at your fingertips. Shop.freetalklive.com. Get all your shopping done, get a great deal, and a portion of your purchase goes to benefit Free Talk Live when you enter Amazon via shop.freetalklive.com. Ross Ulbricht was convicted in early 2015 of running the infamous Silk Road Underground Market. The Silk Road was a gift to humanity and helped reduce the harms brought on by drug prohibition. For this good deed, Ross has been sentenced to life in prison with no possibility of parole. Now, an appeal is Ross's only chance, and he needs your support. Please visit freeross.org, where you can contribute via various methods, including Bitcoin. Visit freeross.org. That's freeross.org.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You can dial on in here toll free. Bring up anything that's on your mind. Our number here is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. And we've got Skype as well. You can Skype on in here at Skype username LRN.FM. So we're going to get into your calls here in just a moment. We've been just sort of generally talking about today's Bitcoin split, which as of right now, which is approximately, 5.5 hours from when the actual first block was mined of this new Bitcoin Cash blockchain. The prices in aggregate between Bitcoin Core and Bitcoin Cash are more right now than what they were 8, 10, 12 hours ago. So far, it's been an unprecedented success. Now, how that's going to change overnight as other markets around the globe are, beginning their trading, as they're waking up, for instance, we'll see.
I'm surprised with the number of different variants of different cryptocurrencies that are out there that someone hasn't developed one called Splitcoin. that like has a set number of times that it just splits, and it'll just go for like a month and then split and then go and then split and just keep splitting into different currencies. Just,
just for the fun
of it.
What
happens. And but each time it splits, you maintain the, your original, like you get a copy. So it just, as you keep splitting, you just have hundreds of different variants of coins.
Somebody was joking about that in our chat room today. Was that he was against the split, and now he wants one every day. Because if you can add $4 billion worth of or $6.5 billion dollars worth of market cap just by creating a new currency.
Maybe I just gave somebody a crazy idea that they're going to do. Who knows?
But the reason, the arguable reason why this
business doing the same thing over and over again always works.
The arguable, it's a cute idea, but the arguable reason why this worked this time is because the market was demanding this. That the market wasn't happy with this sort of one-size-fits-all Bitcoin, and that it did want to have another option, and that's what happened. But would it want 6 Bitcoins? I don't know.
Wait, hold on now. You said you're doing the same thing over and over again. But with a split coin, right? You say you hold the copies and whatnot, and then it keeps splitting and splitting and splitting, right? Well, not all of the forks would have to succeed. Only a portion of them would. So you would, some might fail, right? But some, because you'd have a copy. So the earlier that you adopt it, it'd basically be a digital coin pyramid scheme. Essentially, was what you would have in one coin. Yeah, but
there's actually one called OneCoin.
Is a digital cryptocurrency scheme. Yes.
So I mean, it's just what would be interesting about that is only certain forks would have to succeed. So potentially, the earlier you adopt, the better off you do.
One of the things that people are having to decide in this Bitcoin fork that happened today is if you've got a Bitcoin miner, what do you do? Many of them, most of them, 95% of them are staying on the original Bitcoin Core chain. But we started to see a shift it went from like 2.5 to 3.9% of miners going into this Bitcoin Cash. And if you are mining over at pool.bitcoin.com, you get to decide. So even though there's all of these pools, these mining pools that have committed to staying on the original chain, on the Bitcoin Core chain, the individuals who make up those mining pools, they're not obligated to that agreement. So the individuals can make up their own decision about on which of these they want to mine, and Bitcoin.com is allowing their miners individually to decide these things. So earlier today, as we've mentioned recently, Mark and I, we both have mining contracts over at pool.bitcoin.com, and you can get one too. You can mine the original Bitcoin, or you can mine the new Bitcoin Cash. So just for fun, I went ahead and flipped mine over to Bitcoin Cash just to, try to help them get their first block sooner or whatever. Throw a little bit of support behind this new thing. And you can do that too. Maybe you are a big-time supporter of the original Bitcoin and you want to throw some money behind that. You can get into that. You can get into the new Bitcoin Cash. It's up to you. You decide over at pool.bitcoin.com. They've got a 100% uptime guarantee. It's super easy to use their website, and they'll give you a calculator that'll help you understand what you could make by mining through pool.bitcoin.com. Plus, you can help steer Bitcoin towards being whatever type of Bitcoin you want it to be. Maybe the one that Satoshi Nakamoto meant it to be, or maybe some new version that you prefer. You can pick over at pool.bitcoin.com. It's pool.bitcoin.com. Let's go to Libertarian Banker calling from somewhere in the United States. You're on Free Talk Live with Ian Johnson and Mark.
Hey, guys.
Hey.
You were talking earlier about Bitcoin and the high fees and everything. And, I was just sitting there thinking about the sort of the history of payments and money. And, consumers have always sort of driven how payments are done. Whatever consumers want to pay, that's how businesses are going to accept payment.
Sure.
And so, it used to be controlled by the banks with, checks and checking accounts and just old school ways of doing it. And then the credit card companies came along and they started marketing to consumers and, with rewards, and the Diners Club, I think, was one of the first cards to come out. So you had an incentive, right, to use this payment method. So because they knew as soon as you got the consumers on board, you could get the businesses on board, and then you could charge the businesses a bunch of money to accept it, right? And then you had PayPal and Venmo and a bunch of things that you have now, and that's always been the case. And so what all of those have in common is that money did not equal the payment method, right? So money and payment method were not linked in that scenario. Well, Bitcoin is the money and the payment method all in one. And so the usefulness and the value of Bitcoin comes from people wanting to use it. It absolutely does.
Sure.
And so it is the first time that consumers have ever had to pay fees for a transaction. Normally, the business is going to pay all of the fees on the transaction. The consumer doesn't care. They just use their card.
This is the first time the consumer has noticed that they're paying fees. But, I mean, we all know business owners raise their prices to cover those fees as many times as they can. But this is the first time that this is the first time where it's transparent to the consumer exactly how much their transaction is costing.
Absolutely, and that is honestly that if Bitcoin did not get that under control, which it seems like they have, that's the downfall of it, because the value comes from the usefulness of being able to pay for next to nothing.
I agree with you, which is why I think that ending these fees is the most important thing that can happen to Bitcoin. It's the only thing that's going to keep it above its competition. The only thing that's going to keep it on, as the king of the hill of cryptocurrencies, is to be able to fix these outrageous fees. And they are still too high, in my opinion. I mean, it's not uncommon still to see 30 to 50 or so cent fees these days for a normal transaction priority, and that's it's still too much.
Absolutely. And so, anyway, this Bitcoin Cash thing is just so interesting because, this has never happened before, at least on this scale, obviously with Ethereum before. And here I'm looking, it's $379 that Bitcoin Cash is on CoinCap.io, and they finally are trading it. So this is nuts.
It's fun to watch, that's for sure. Libertarian
It's kept me
Banker.
busy all day.
Yeah, thanks for the call tonight. It really has been interesting to watch this develop and ask questions about it, because I can tell you, even though we're pretty well educated about Bitcoin, even we didn't all agree on how things were going or what the rules are, or how is this thing going to scale? Is the what's the mining factor?
I thought today was going to be an apocalypse. Generally.
Did you really?
Oh yeah, I really did.
What were you seeing? What were you foreseeing?
I figured that the splits were going to cause havoc on the network, and that people were going to be the merchants and whatnot turning off their ability to accept was going to cause people to freak out and sell, and that the value was just going to tank. And that I wasn't sure whether or not there would be a recovery after that, but I thought that the value was going to just take a huge hit today.
Yeah, many of the markets
it didn't at all.
I did feel like it was going to be down for longer than it was. A lot of the markets were like, "We're back." Many of them were trading Bitcoin before the first block was found in Bitcoin Cash.
Right.
So, they didn't stay down for very long. One of the folks who I work with the Bitcoin vending machines here in the Keene and the Manchester area, he was saying we should be back online. And I was like, well, no, maybe we should take some, because he was the one who was pushing to shut down earlier because of fear of what, might go down. And then when everybody else started coming back up, he was like, maybe we should just come back online. I said, no, we said we were going to be down today. Let's just go ahead and be down. Give it the day. Let's, make sure that there aren't any crazy reports coming in later on. Let's play it safe here and see what happens, because there are supposed to be risks involved in a chain split.
Right.
Which could involve what are called replay attacks. Now, they're putting in protections against these things into the softwares, but I don't know which places have protections and which ones don't. So there's actually an interesting article that I had pulled up here about how to kind of protect yourself in this kind of still uncertain time after this Bitcoin fork. It's called A Beginner's Guide to Claiming Your Bitcoin Cash and Selling It, if that's what you want to do with it. But they basically, just to boil it down, they say, unless you really need to have this Bitcoin Cash right now, like you want it now so you can sell it now, you're afraid that it's going to go down in price when it's actually right now going up as we're speaking. But, if you need it right now, then you can do what you need to do. And they go through some steps to help you with that. But they say they actually don't recommend you do it yet, because none of these Bitcoin Cash programs have been audited to see if they're going to steal your private keys away from you. So there's still some fear, uncertainty, and doubt being spread about this whole process. And the thing is, once if you've gone through this split, that Bitcoin Cash is going to be there whenever you're ready to claim it. There's more coming up.
Have you ever thought about mining Bitcoin? Did the costs, constant equipment upgrades, and maintenance scare you off? Do you want to make Bitcoin every day in the same mining pool that Ian and I do? Pool.bitcoin.com. There's a 100% uptime guarantee. The website's easy to use, and you can calculate what you're going to make right there on the website at pool.bitcoin.com. Help steer Bitcoin towards the liberating currency that Satoshi Nakamoto meant it to be. I'm not just making money at pool.bitcoin.com. I'm doing activism while I sleep. Pool.bitcoin.com. Free
Talk Live has partnered with Amazon, the largest internet retailer. Imagine a department store category, and Amazon has it. Books, electronics, office products, furniture, jewelry, automotive, toys, clothing, sporting goods, and dozens of other categories. Now you can shop and support Free Talk Live by entering Amazon through our website. Go to shop.freetalklive.com and Amazon will send us a portion of your purchase. You're going to do the shopping anyway, so remember to enter through our site at shop.freetalklive.com. That's shop.freetalklive.com. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
The three most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share one episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next, after the news, here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Tuesday, August 1st, 2017. Silver is trading at $16.73 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,266 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 4.6 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $2,800. Antiwar.com reports moving to get more overtly involved in the country where most of their efforts in recent years have been covert. The U.S. on Monday announced a new round of sanctions against Venezuela's President Nicolas Maduro, which they say was meant to express disapproval over the weekend's election. In an attempt to consolidate full control over the government by the United Socialist Party, Maduro organized the election to establish a National Constituent Assembly, which would have the power to overrule the existing parliament and which is being stacked with Maduro allies. With public calls to boycott by materially all opposition groups, the vote is heavily contested, with official claims of around 8 million voters, more than double the estimates of independent analysts. The high formal turnout and wide margins of victory are seen as the Maduro government trying to give the proceedings an air of legitimacy. The U.S. government has been eager to insert itself into the affairs of Latin America for generations, and this looks no different, with the administration seemingly salivating at the prospect of declaring Venezuela an illegal government and a dictatorship, and vowing that democracy, by which they doubtless mean U.S. intervention, will prevail. Yet the Venezuelan opposition isn't eager to see the U.S. throw itself into the middle of all of this, warning against U.S. efforts to impose an oil embargo on the country, which is apparently the go-to suggestion of Senator Marco Rubio. Indeed, many in the opposition believe that anything the U.S. does will be bad news for them, as it will allow Maduro, with at least some credibility, to argue that he is a victim of U.S. imperialism, and that suggestion will split the substantial bloc of Latin American countries who are critical of Maduro's actions. In making this somehow America's problem, the Trump administration sets itself up as a convenient scapegoat for Maduro and harms the credibility of genuine Venezuelan opposition groups by allowing the Venezuelan government to paint them as secretly in league with the United States. For nearly 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases and have permanently removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports a federal judge on Monday found Joe Arpaio, former sheriff in Maricopa County, Arizona, guilty of ignoring a judge's order to stop racial profiling in immigration enforcement. U.S. District Judge Susan Bolton said Arpaio is guilty of contempt of court for failing to comply with an order from U.S. District Judge G. Murray Snow in 2011 to stop detaining people based only on the belief that they are in the United States illegally. Arpaio, the former Republican sheriff of Maricopa County, Arizona for 24 years, was a staunch opponent of undocumented immigration immigration and instituted policies that led some supporters to refer to him as the toughest sheriff in America. Arpaio's lawyers argued that Snow's order was unclear and that willful intention was required to prove criminal contempt. The former sheriff issued a statement to the Arizona Republic saying he plans to appeal the ruling so that he can get a trial by jury. Bolton has scheduled sentencing for October 5th. In 2115 New England, there are no borders, no states, and no regulations, yet never has a more peaceful and prosperous place existed. But Mr. Drake's security company has seen better days. Faced with the prospect of waning power, Mr. Drake intends to replace the anarchy of New England with a government. Anarchy in New England by Joe Jarvis is available from Amazon.com and all major bookstores. Reuters reports President Donald Trump ousted recently hired White House communication chief Anthony Scaramucci on Monday over an obscene tirade, according to sources familiar with the decision, in the latest staff upheaval for the 6-month-old administration. The move, coming just 10 days after the president named Scaramucci to the post, took place on the first day of work for Trump's new chief of staff, retired Marine Corps General John Kelly, who sources said was seeking to impose order on a White House riven with factions and backbiting. A source close to Trump said the president fretted over the weekend about what to do about Scaramucci, calling his advisors to ask their opinions, all of whom told him the tough-talking aide had to go. Trump was reportedly annoyed about Scaramucci's lewd comments to the New Yorker magazine published last Thursday. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
From the creation of the Bible in 1912 by a struggling Baltimore book salesman to the day in 1493 when Christopher Columbus and his crew looked back on their voyage and realized what they truly discovered was themselves. The Onion looks back at This Week in History. On July 21st, 1969, astronaut Neil Armstrong became the first human to set foot on the surface of the moon. The moon, for Christ's sake.
This is Tranquility Base. The Eagle has landed. Jesus H. Christ, Houston. We're on the moon. Over.
Roger, Tranquility. We copy that. We cannot believe you are on the moon.
I'm descending the ladder. Just one more step and I'm wholly living. I absolutely am standing on the surface of the moon. Jesus H. Christ in a chicken basket.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It is Free Talk Live. You can dial in toll-free to join us on the radio. Our number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. A Baltimore prosecutor has tossed out 34 cases after a police officer was seen planting evidence on his own video that he recorded inadvertently. We'll tell you more about that story coming up here in moments. With you in the studio tonight, you've got Ian.
And Johnson.
And Mark.
And, of course, you can bring up whatever you want, as we've been following closely, as we promised we would, the Bitcoin fork. Poor guys from Neocash Radio got on the radio this morning on their live stream. JJ, who was one of our former co-hosts here, he does a Bitcoin or cryptocurrency internet show called Neocash Radio, and I'd heard last night that they were going to be live streaming during the fork at like 8 a.m. And unfortunately, the actual the fork didn't complete until 6 hours later. So
it's a long stream.
Yeah, they didn't run for that whole run. They did like a good solid 2 hours and then called it quits. So it was it was kind of, I think, for some people who were expecting, like you said, Johnson, the end of the world or the end of the crypto world or all kinds of drama, it was actually kind of underwhelming as far as how things went
It's a
today.
very good thing.
It was a lot like real life.
Yeah, not just underwhelming, but also pleasantly surprising, because my prediction was going to be like what happened to Ethereum and Ethereum Classic when Ethereum split last year, which is the number 2 cryptocurrency right now. When it split into two, both of those currencies went down. Now, I don't know how quickly after, because I haven't reviewed the charts or whatever. Maybe it took a couple days. So maybe we're still going to see, some big sell-offs or whatever, and the prices of these things drop. But as of right now, the aggregate price between Bitcoin Core and Bitcoin Cash is higher than what it was before today's historic forking. So
yeah, you saw a relatively big jump, and right now Bitcoin Cash is clawing its way up. It may very well surpass Ripple as the third third largest market cap of any of these coins by this evening.
It's more of a spooning, really.
Yeah, right now, Bitcoin Cash is coming in over at CoinCap.io at number 4 on the charts at $6.4 billion market cap. Ripple at only 6.8, so it's well within striking distance. I mean, it could be above that within the hour, as a matter of fact. But, Johnson, you had a story that you wanted to share here tonight, since we're still talking about this historic fork, about the other side of what they think about Bitcoin Cash.
The title here is What Do Core Think of Bitcoin Cash?
And Core is the programming team behind Bitcoin Core, which is sort of the longest chain of these two Bitcoin chains.
And the article immediately goes on to say the question in the title is misleading, because what Core think and what Core and Blockstream want you to think and believe are two entirely separate things.
Now, Blockstream is a company that had been given like $100 million or $150 million or something ridiculous like that by a major bank. And this company has managed to like buy up a bunch of the Bitcoin Core programmers. So the theory is, the conspiracy theory is that this is a play by the major banks. That's definitely
what this article is about.
Yeah, sure. I haven't read the story, but that this is all a play by the major banks to take over operation of Bitcoin and take some level of control over it. And a lot of people are not so happy about these Blockstream folks.
Well, recently, Bitcoin Core developer Luke Dash Jr., a.k.a. Luke Jr., wrote an opinion piece almost entirely about Bitcoin Cash itself. But before we get onto the Bitcoin Cash topic here, let me address one glaring point made by Luke early on in his piece. Given that SegWit 2x is well underway now, Luke actually makes an admission, stating, and I quote, "Basically, BIP 148, UASF, the user-activated soft fork, was an early success. This statement conclusively reaffirms statements I made in an earlier piece that Blockstream, UASF, and DCG, SegWit 2x, are in bed together."
So there's way too many acronyms here for anybody to decode. What was that was just said?
So the user-activated soft fork...
I'm a Bitcoin guy, and I had trouble with that.
So they're basically saying Blockstream is the user-activated soft fork. UASF is Blockstream. That Blockstream is responsible for that user-activated soft fork.
And this was a plot that was supposed to originally go off today if this proposed... technical change, the segregated witness change wasn't put into place in time. This UASF plan would have moved forward, but they didn't end up having to do that.
And DCG, I'm not sure what DCG is, but
never heard that one.
They're saying it's SegWit 2x. So,
okay.
That Blockstream and DCG are in bed together. And I'm going to restate this. The big blockers have been played. But
so, again, I have heard that, many of the core developers who work in some cases for Blockstream were upset about the SegWit 2 agreement because they weren't consulted, so that would refute what this claim is. I have no idea. Go on.
Well, yeah, it's interesting. But Luke's ponderous post is generally a marvel and deceit. He bewilderingly states that Bitcoin Cash is an altcoin and that it is an attempt to hijack Bitcoin. This play on words is all too common within the Blockstream camp. The hijacking came from Blockstream and no one else. But to help illustrate this point, allow me to paint this picture. Suppose you are part of an open source project. You release a founding paper specifying your project's inner workings, methods, and overall operation. Your project is unfunded, but passionately developed within an open, transparent, and thriving community. A new company emerges and cleverly makes its way among your development team and receives an incredibly large amount of funding from some very big players in the industry.
The banks.
This company then starts to weed out some of the early developers of the project, and particularly those who don't agree with the company's very distinct vision.
David Andreessen.
Discussion and promotion of the original founding paper is prohibited. This company then, for argument's sake, let's just call it Blockstream, rewrites the project to a vision that is incompatible with the original founding paper. So then, in retaliation, a small group of people, some who were there in the beginning, come together and relaunch, or rather see the continuation of the original project within the original intention following the original founding paper. Who in the above paradigm hijacked the project? Unless you are heavily compromised, it takes no genius to figure out the answer. Blockstream took over Bitcoin. fundamentally changed its course direction and are now actively attacking the minority who wish to retain the original vision. Bitcoin's community has been aggressively split for several years now. If Luke's heart was in the right place, he should genuinely wish Bitcoin Cash all the best, and in fact, thank them for going their own way and finally ending years of dispute.
Yeah, you would think.
This should be, it would seem to me, this should be what everybody's attitude is like, hey kids, everybody go to your room.
Yeah, you go
right?
separate ways.
You know, everybody should be happy about it, but they're not. And I guess it's because they're humans. Right, like, and people don't forgive very quickly unless somebody sort of shows a change of heart or something like that. But this really should be it.
Well, yeah. Why would you want the bully to stay in the playground? I mean, if the bully's like, I'm a leader, if they see Bitcoin Cash as the interloper or whatever, and they're ready to walk away from this discussion and do their own thing, that should be something to be celebrated.
That's, I think, the best part of this article. So he says instead he chooses to attack further. Segregated witness is an extreme departure from the Bitcoin described in inventor and creator Satoshi Nakamoto's white paper. Satoshi, in his wisdom, wrote, Bitcoin can already scale much larger than Visa with existing hardware for a fraction of the cost. Bitcoin was already scalable. It didn't need SegWit. The threat Bitcoin Cash poses is that it can finally prove itself. With the removal of the 1 megabyte temporary cap, it will demonstrate to the world that core developers were lying all along, and Bitcoin can scale to astronomical heights and operate very efficiently and securely. So now the new agenda by Core and Blockstream is to attack Bitcoin Cash as an altcoin and to discredit the position as the true to discredit its position as the true Bitcoin. But
this is going to be the hard part here, is discerning which is the true Bitcoin, right? I mean, everybody's got their argument for why theirs is the right Bitcoin, and as you're saying, they're attacking Bitcoin Cash and calling it altcoin. And I've seen this, even within the Bitcoin community up here, we've seen people using that terminology to describe Bitcoin Cash. But the difference between Bitcoin Cash and every other altcoin is that it literally is Bitcoin forked into just another pathway, meaning that it has all of the old Bitcoin transactions associated with it. All of these other altcoins do not. They started their own thing. They did their own thing from scratch using the Bitcoin code as their basis.
If I go to some local store here in Keene that accepts Bitcoin and I spend my Bitcoin, which one's it going to be?
Bitcoin Core at the moment. More coming up here in moments. It's Free Talk Live.
This is Ed Lukasevic.
And Cindy Lukasevic at Dinovite.
This year, whenever you order a 90-day supply of Dinovite for your dog, we'll send you a free sample of one of the other doggy things we make.
Like Lico Chaps, Super Mega Fish Oil, or Doggo Suds Shampoo.
What's on your dog's wish list?
We'll offer a different freebie each week at Dinovite.com.
Don't you just love the sound of healthy, happy dogs?
Dinovite is nutrition.
Dinovite for life.
DINOVITE.com.
Ooh, get the stinky dog away from me.
DINOVITE.com.
Order a 90-day supply of Dinovite for your dog this week.
We'll send you a bottle of NomoFlea free.
NomoFlea flea spray kills fleas safely with no poison.
Because it's a polypeptide protein molecule made from
vegetable oil.
Try NomoFlea.
Free this week at Dinovite.com.
Everything we tried failed except the Dinovite. DINOVITE.com.
A great president once said, "The 9 most feared words in the English language. I am from the government and I'm here to help. Adequacy of loss absorbing capacity. You call that help? That's the mandate approved by the G20. The banks can steal your money. Well, they can't steal your gold and silver. That you fully control. You can have it delivered into an IRA at a depository under lock and key, where you can hide it where no one can find it, not even your wife. What? Sorry, honey. Your CDs, money market accounts, and savings accounts are all at risk. Call GSI Exchange at 800-474-9159. We have 75 years of market experience. A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. 800-474-9159. Call now and get a free bank failure survival guide. 800-474-9159.
Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material. FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper FPP News at news.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
Did you know you can watch Free Talk Live during our live show 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cams at cam.freetalklive.com? Plus, you can chat with other listeners while you watch, all totally free. Now that our live video stream is hosted by YouTube, our video archives will be online even faster. So be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com. The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air, and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
It's Free Talk Live on a really amazing day for cryptocurrency, as the entire crypto market is once again inching back towards $100 billion U.S. dollars in market cap value.
It just dawned on me the way you said that. It's a really amazing day for cryptocurrency. We got Bitcoin Core on one side. We've got, Bitcoin Cash on the other here. They're going at it.
And the goal?
It's like, are we officiating in a sporting event?
I don't think I puked it that much.
No, I didn't think you puked it at all. But you just said it's a really amazing day, which is a very sporting event like term.
Yeah. Okay.
It just, it dawned on me that
there are definitely two sides in this thing, and there may not be two for long. We may see 3 Bitcoins by the end of the year.
We've got a real underdog here in this Bitcoin Cash. It's a long shot, but they're driving up the line.
That's really
good. All true. It's all true. They are an underdog.
You deserve a micropayment for that.
All right. We're going to get back into, Johnson, your story in a moment here.
Hold on. Let me read my address. 1XZ49.
We're going to go to your calls and thoughts first, though. I do want to let you know about Simbi.com, where you don't need money to do business. It's a slick and easy-to-use marketplace where you trade your talents for other people's services and abilities. You can forget the old economy. This is your economy at Simbi.com. And you won't believe the diversity of services available at Simbi.com. Hundreds of thousands of people are acting within the symbiotic economy. So go get your account at Simbi.com and take a look around and then post your services. That's SIMBI, Simbi.com. Back into Johnson's story that he's sharing with us in a moment. But first, Mark is on the line with us in Utah. You're on Free Talk Live with Ian Johnson and Mark.
Hey, guys. Today I wanted to talk about my oldest son. He's 12 years old, and I talked to him about inflation and stuff like that, sort of the dangers and all that. But I've never once talked to him about Bitcoin. And when he got a new computer for his schoolwork this coming year. We have him at like a remote charter school. So he does all of his work on the computer, and he plays video games on it too. And I happened to notice, one day he was on the computer, and I saw he was mining Bitcoin. And I was like, oh my gosh, you're mining Bitcoin? He's like, yeah, I'm mining Bitcoin. And I'm like, why are you, first of all, how'd you find out about it?
Well, first off, no, he's not. He's attempting to mine Bitcoin.
What do you mean he's not? What do you mean he's not doing it?
He gets about $3 worth of Bitcoin a day.
Does he?
Yeah. What do
really?
you mean, Mark? Why are you saying he couldn't mine Bitcoin?
What kind of machine is this that he's pulling down those kind of numbers?
It's actually well, I don't know, like it showed how much he made in a day, and it had like a little conversion thing, and it said it was like $3. He's got a wallet with the Bitcoin inside of it.
Wow, it was my understanding that basically, if you try to use a regular computer, all you're doing is burning electricity.
Well,
and a lot of it.
Unless you're part of a pool.
Yeah, you can join mining pools, Mark.
He is.
Then you burn electricity.
He is part of.
Go ahead.
Yeah, he is part of a mining pool. I did see that. Like he talked about, that he joined a mining pool.
So, Mark, what you're thinking, the difference here is that if you're just trying to mine for yourself, you're not going to win the block. If you're part of a pool, your processing power is then divided up amongst everybody who's part of that pool, and then when the pool wins a block,
you get
the rewards
fraction.
are divided up, and you're getting a fraction. Therefore, it makes sense because a large enough pool is going to be getting blocks. They're going to be awarded blocks, so you're actually going to get money. If you're just a single individual user trying to mine stuff, your odds of actually getting a block are so slim that you're never going to get anything. You're repeatedly playing bad odds.
He's not as going to, if he's using his regular computer for this, he probably has a ballsy graphics card in there that he can use to play video games.
AMD or something.
Or whatever.
That is true. He does have a really nice graphics.
So that's what's being used to do the number crunching in this case. And it's certainly true, Mark, that the graphics card in a computer is not designed to be a Bitcoin miner. That's not its sole purpose. That's not the one thing that it does. So it won't be as efficient as somebody who's gone out and bought some fancy ASIC Bitcoin miner that is only dedicated to mining. You flip it on and it mines Bitcoin.
I'm sad. I've got a pretty good graphics card, but I just wish this had happened during the winter because then it would make financial sense for me to do it because I just do it during the winter and just turn the heat a little lower.
But do you see what I'm saying, Mark?
Yeah, I understand.
Right.
So I got it now.
You can still mine. And that's why we've said at pool.bitcoin.com, if you know what you're doing, and Mark doesn't, but if, as your son knows what he's doing, he could totally join the pool at pool.bitcoin.com, and if he felt like it, he could then start mining the new Bitcoin Cash, which a lot of people aren't going to be willing to do because there's just not as much money in it. It's not, right now, it's only like the ideological miners, I think, that are mining the Bitcoin Cash, at least in the beginning hours of this thing. As it starts rising in price, that's probably going to encourage more people to jump on board. But anyway, so it looks like you didn't even have to talk to your son about Bitcoin. He beat you to
I know. Well, I asked like how he found out about it, like why he decided to start mining Bitcoin, and he said, well, because he uses Steem, and Steem accepts Bitcoin for their payments.
That's the video game platform.
Since he's too young to have a job and make money for himself,
right.
I can just mine Bitcoin and then save up.
Buy a new indie game every 3 days.
Yeah.
Now, are you going to make him pay a chunk of the power bill with all of his
right.
Bitcoin
You're paying
monies?
for his games now. That's a sneaky way of getting some games.
Yeah, he lives with his mom, so I don't really care.
Everything's fine. Then I don't see a problem.
Yeah.
That's great stuff.
If she starts complaining about the power
she knows
bill,
nothing about Bitcoin.
Nope,
she just knows it. Why's my electric? She's calling the company up. What is going on?
If she complains to you about the power, just smirk.
Yeah.
Great story, Mark. Anything else you want to share tonight?
Nope, that's it.
Thanks for making the call. I appreciate you sharing that with us. Yeah, isn't that funny that you find your son or daughter has gotten into Bitcoin and they've gotten more than you have because they've been able to spend all their disposable income on it or whatever.
Right. Spend all their money on a big fat graphics card, and then they're using mom's power.
Bitcoin had been around when I was like a young kid. Oh my god!
Right? Yeah. Imagine.
Oh my god!
Imagine being 12 in 2011 when Bitcoin was 20 cents or whatever it was.
Absolutely.
You take your lunch money, pour it into some Bitcoin, and you end up with thousands of Bitcoin or something like that, or your allowance from a few weeks, and then hold on to them, and then within a few years you're richer than all your relatives put together.
That uncontrolled source of income as a kid with no bank, not having to worry about a bank, being able to spend and order from places like Amazon, Overstock, wherever. That's unbelievable.
Yeah, I bet there are a bunch of young people who are Bitcoin millionaires right now that aren't even out of high school.
If I find Jack doing this, he's going to have to go out in the yard and pick up sticks to pay for all that power he's using.
Does he have his own computer?
He's got a tablet.
You probably don't have anything to worry about.
$3 a day plus it's a lot of sticks you're going to have to be picking up.
Yeah.
So toll-free number tonight, if you want to join us, 855-450-FREE, like freedom, 855-450-3733. So, Johnson, you're sharing with us a story from Bitcoin.com about the Bitcoin Core engineers, the programmers, one of them specifically a guy named Luke Jr., who has lashed out against the new Bitcoin Cash, calling it an altcoin. And that actually started a conversation in this studio during the break about, well, is Bitcoin Cash an altcoin or is it Bitcoin? And Mark, you made a good point that when you go downtown in Keene, New Hampshire, and you want to spend Bitcoin in real life,
or if you go to Overstock.com, or if you go to Dell.com,
it's going to be Bitcoin
according
Core.
to everyone who accepts Bitcoin.
It's going to be Bitcoin Core, the sort of
Segwit
original Bitcoin. That's what people are accepting. So there's no doubt that's still the king of the hill. But does that mean that this other Bitcoin is not Bitcoin? And I don't think it does mean that. I think it still is Bitcoin because it has all the history of Bitcoin, unlike every other altcoin that does not. Well, there's more coming up. Well, let's get back into it here. 855-450-FREE, like freedom. You can join us here. What do you think? It's Free Talk Live.
If there's a toxic chemical, biological, gas, smoke emergency while traveling at home or on your job, are you protected? Are you prepared? There are over 400,000 fires in the USA every year. Up to 85% of all deaths in a fire are due to smoke inhalation. 3 minutes without air, and we as humans will die. Be prepared and escape safely with our Safe Escape Smoke Hoods, giving you up to 60 minutes of breathable air protection. Order yours online at ase-safety.com. That's ase-safety.com. And get up to 40% off, plus free shipping.
Ralph, remember when you said you were going to start paying more attention to your health and now you're eating potato chips?
Just a few.
A few, okay, but you should be eating Superberry's Aronia berries.
Aronia what?
Aronia berries from superberries.com. They're known for having one of the highest levels of antioxidants that helps with overall wellness. Go to superberries.com/radio. And right now we get a free smoothie recipe book with our order. Plus we can save $4 at checkout.
Wow, look at all the benefits of these berries.
I know, Ralph, I know.
Choose health. Eat purple. Superberries.com.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
For years, LRN.FM has had a listen line that you can call and listen to LRN.FM anytime. Now we're taking the idea to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on-demand line. You can call 641-793-9660 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed, and you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long-distance fees may apply. Just dial 641-793-9660 and choose from the menu. 641-793-9660.
Money, power, and respect are all yours at CreditSuccessSecretsRevealed.com. Be seen as an industry leader. You can do it. The last application you filled out when it was time to hit submit, did your nerves spike? You didn't get the approval you seek, but there's a better way. We teach you exactly what to place into the right systems the right way the first time so you get approved. Get up to $100,000 in instant business credit. Many people will get cash on the spot. Use those two tools in your new corporate credit engine so you can walk into the bank and get your project funded today. It's all about today at CreditSuccessSecretsRevealed.com. Credit Success Secrets Revealed is explosive and ignites instant results. Dial 1-800-707-8719. That's 1-800-707-8719. 1-800-707-8719. Or just go to creditsuccesssecretsrevealed.com.
While our satellite channel is free to listen to, it's not free for us. You can help us cover our satellite costs with the chip-in on the right side of the page at lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, and you can take control of the airwaves here at 855-450 free like freedom, 855-450-3733. We do have Skype, so feel free to Skype on in here at username lrn.fm. With you in the studio tonight, you've got Ian.
And Johnson.
And Mark.
Now, I mean, I swear we're not a crypto-only talk show here, but it has been heavy-duty conversation on this show over the last several days as this, historic forking day for Bitcoin happened today. It was this afternoon Eastern time about 2:30 when Bitcoin experienced its first real split. At different opposing sides in this conflict have gone their separate ways, but apparently some are still stamping their feet about it. Johnson, you're sharing a story with us here from Bitcoin.com about one of the programmers from the Bitcoin Core, which is the current king of the Bitcoin world. He seems to be still, got a stick up his butt about this whole conflict, even though people can just focus on their own thing right now. Like, hey, you got your thing to focus on. Why don't you just focus on it? But what's going on?
Well, the author goes on to say here, so now the new agenda by Core and Blockstream is to attack Bitcoin Cash as an altcoin and to discredit its position as the true Bitcoin. But anyone reading Satoshi's white paper and other writings will instantly recognize that Bitcoin Cash is indeed the coin that the inventor and creator desired. But this isn't about doing it for Satoshi. It is about recognizing that there was nothing ever wrong with the original roadmap for Bitcoin. The derailment by Blockstream into SegWit isn't for Bitcoin's benefit. It is actually for the benefit of Blockstream and its many investors. Luke also stated that this isn't
because Blockstream is this company that has kind of quietly been funded with like $100 million from big banks, and they've gone in and essentially bought up these programmers inside of Bitcoin and have turned them to their vision of what Bitcoin should be, which is presumably something that is going to rely on Blockstream's technology to continue on into the future and hopefully, in their minds, make them all kinds of money.
Well, Luke also stated that this isn't a particularly unique or even first-of-a-kind altcoin. Bitcoin Dark and Bitcoin Plus have tried to hijack the Bitcoin name previously. Again, he mentions the term hijacking.
That's not exactly accurate. So Bitcoin Dark and Bitcoin Plus wouldn't have been forks and wouldn't have the entire, 9
Well, they wouldn't
years
have been
of
forks of the blockchain. I think the word fork you can still apply to taking the code, making a change to it, and restarting it from the beginning. That's like a software fork or something like that, whereas we've seen an actual fork into a blockchain copy, 2 copies of the blockchain.
So it says again, he mentions the term hijacking. This isn't hijacking anything. If Blockstream chooses to fundamentally change the inner workings of Bitcoin and a group of loyalists who truly believe in Bitcoin's capability in its current form, with the transaction cap removed, choose to keep things as they are, why should it not be called Bitcoin? Bitcoin Cash is true Bitcoin in every sense of the word and is 100% aligned to the white paper description. Luke stated Bitcoin Plus and Bitcoin Dark are both non-compliant to Bitcoin's white paper, and further, they did not maintain Bitcoin's existing ledger as they were not forks of the main chain. Luke's inclusion of these 2 cryptos is intentionally misleading. SegWit, on the other hand, is so much a departure from Bitcoin's white paper that if you would determine altcoins on technicalities alone, SegWit would be it, hands down. Where does the white paper mention splitting witness data? Why should a central body such as Blockstream have the final say as to what Bitcoin is and isn't? Bitcoin Cash's value and status will in the end be determined by a free and open market, not by the rantings of a core developer.
Well,
this
and
was
that
written
may
by
be
Eli Afram.
Yeah, and that may be, it may be the case that the market doesn't care about this stuff, because right now this guy is saying here, our Bitcoin Cash is the true Bitcoin, and the others are saying, no, our Bitcoin Core is the true Bitcoin, and you've got these two sides fighting. And even though,
well, I mean, I would agree with the assertion here in this article that if you're following Satoshi's original white paper more closely, that's pretty much
you have a legitimate claim, but that doesn't matter to the marketplace, right? The marketplace isn't going to see this stuff. They're not going to. They don't care. They don't even know. They don't even know this is happening. There was a guy who I know locally, knew him from back in the day of the 420 celebrations here in town. He's a buyer of Bitcoin in town. And normally he goes to the Bitcoin vending machine, but yesterday that was closed. So he contacted me because we know each other, and he said, "Hey, can I drop by and get a little bit of Bitcoin today?" And I said, "Yeah, sure." So when he came by, I said, "Well, what do you think's going to happen tomorrow?" He's like, "Tomorrow? What's going on?" He didn't even know, right? And this guy is a regular buyer of Bitcoin, right? So your average user probably still doesn't know. They're not likely listeners of Free Talk Live. So your typical Bitcoin user is probably completely in the dark about this whole conflict. And so what you really have on your hands is a marketing problem. Okay, yeah, sure, maybe this programmer's correct and Bitcoin Cash is the true heir to Satoshi Nakamoto's vision. I don't doubt his assessment of that is true, but you're never going to be able to convince the average user of that even matters unless you have some real proof in the marketplace that not only is Bitcoin Cash accepted, and it's not yet, it's got a long way to go before there's any kind of point of sale system available for Bitcoin Cash. Not only is Bitcoin Cash accepted, but it's fast and it's easier or whatever. There's got to be something it can do to outpace Bitcoin if it wants to have a chance.
And here's what's also interesting, though, because the entire ledger has been maintained, right? So switching from Core to Cash shouldn't be that huge of a difficulty, right? I mean, it should be, to develop some of these things. I mean, essentially, you copy the existing code from whatever point of sale systems are already written, and just change a few addresses, and boom, you got another point of sale system for Bitcoin Cash.
That's true.
Because essentially, you don't really need to rewrite very much,
right? And in fact,
if
I wanted to tomorrow, I'm the administrator of the Bitcoin vending machine here in town. If I wanted to, I could go and load up Bitcoin Cash onto the server, reset the machine, and have it sell Bitcoin Cash to people. Now, I wouldn't do that because that's not what they're expecting to buy. Right. But yeah, you're right. You can pretty easily take one and replace it for the other. But that's where this marketing problem comes into play. Is now there's two Bitcoins for the first time ever, and two sides that are very vehement on one side or the other, and then the question is, how's that all going to shake out when it comes to talking to business owners about it?
Hold on, wait.
Hold on. I want to ask a question for Ian Freeman, Bitcoin activist, because this is
he's only here one night a week, Mark.
Yeah,
it's all good.
Here's a question for Ian Freeman, Bitcoin activist. As soon as some of these payment gateways, BitPay, Coinbase, whoever, maybe not Coinbase, start accepting Bitcoin Cash, if that happens very soon,
it's unlikely that'll happen at all.
Okay.
In my opinion.
Really?
We already know Coinbase is refusing to do anything with Bitcoin Cash, and I highly doubt BitPay is going to do anything with it either.
Really? Okay.
Right. The last time we talked to BitPay about, hey, are you guys going to accept anything else besides Bitcoin? The answer was no.
Interesting.
So why would they? I believe BitPay is one of the companies that signed on to the SegWit 2X plan. So they're likely,
So are there any payment processors out there that exist that accept Bitcoin Cash?
Not yet.
Interesting.
If I want to use Bitcoin Cash to pay for something, and I go in and I, go down to somebody who's accepting regular Bitcoin Legacy, SegWit Coin or whatever it is.
Bitcoin Core is probably the best name for it.
Bitcoin Core, and I send them Bitcoin Cash, what's going to happen?
Nothing.
You will be able to send Bitcoin Cash, but it won't appear. It won't appear in their wallet as Bitcoin. It'll quietly appear in that same address behind the scenes as Bitcoin Cash because of the split. So yeah, there's a huge problem now with Bitcoin as far as marketing is concerned, and potential confusion in the marketplace as to which Bitcoin are you buying at that vending machine? Which Bitcoin are you spending at that merchant? And so it's going to have to be anybody who decides to accept Bitcoin Cash is going to or sell it is going to have to make crystal clear that they're dealing with who they're dealing with and what they're expecting, and that's going to result in some problems at some point. And that's one of the downsides of this. The upside is both sides get what they want. They get to go in their separate ways. The downside is now we who are out there marketing this as an idea for business owners to accept, it's a harder sell.
Yeah.
So it's a more confusing situation to try to explain to somebody. There's more coming up here in moments. You can take control of the airwaves. 855-450 free.
Do you want to help build a better financial system for everyone? Join Dash. Dash is digital cash, a digital money platform designed to replace cash and help people manage their own wealth. It's fast and easy. Fees are low and transactions are confirmed instantly. Dash is decentralized, run by users who earn rewards for helping run the network and make governance decisions. Help people take control over their financial future today. Find out more at dash.org.
What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveitpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveitpurse.com.
Have you checked your Google search results lately? Search results are usually the first impression that people form of you or your business, so make sure that they create a positive impression with ReputationDefender.com. What the internet says about you can have a big impact on your life and your livelihood, even if it's not true. Fortunately, you can now control how you look online and in online search results with ReputationDefender.com. Call 800-831-0771 now. That's 800-831-0771 for your free reputation analysis. If you have negative material from an ex-employee, upset patient, or former client, newspaper article, legal issue, social media, or other source showing up in your search results, you can combat it with ReputationDefender.com. Our dedicated experts in patented technology can help make your online search results look their best. Call 800-831-0771 to learn more. 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771. Or visit ReputationDefender.com.
Understanding your credit score is the first step towards managing and improving it. This is Charlie Sundstrom with your Van Dyke Mortgage Minute. The most influential component of your credit score is your payment history. Almost equally as important is the amount you owe on credit accounts. Also impacting your score, but to a lesser degree, are the length of time you've utilized your credit, the number of new accounts, credit inquiries, and your various types of credit accounts. To help achieve or maintain a healthy credit score, have a system set up to assure your bills are always paid on time. Don't max out your cards. It's better to have a high credit limit with a low balance. Never close old accounts. The age of these can actually help your credit score. But don't be afraid to use your credit. You need several accounts in order to have a credit score. Just keep the corresponding payments within your means. For your mortgage pre-approval and refi needs, start by visiting VanDykeMortgage.com.
Corporate NMLS 3035. Van Dyke Mortgage is an equal housing lender. Charlie Sundstrom, NMLS 134251.
The three most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share one episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. You likely buy all kinds of things online. Amazon is the largest online retailer. You can get what you need at the same prices with free Super Saver shipping by going to shop.freetalklive.com. Please do your online shopping at shop.freetalklive.com. We've all heard about blockchain assets like Dogecoin, Ether, and Ripple. Bitcoin isn't the only player in the blockchain game any longer. And for those of us wondering how to get our hands on these digital assets, finally, there's a solution. Shapeshift.io allows you to buy and sell between your digital assets and Bitcoin instantly between your own digital wallets. I've used it with ease. Shapeshift.io. There's no account or email address needed. You send them the crypto you want to sell. They send back the crypto you want to buy. It's that easy. Shapeshift.io.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. Dial in toll free and join us right here. You can take control of the airwaves. You can bring up anything that you want. Our number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom, 855-450-3733. And we've got Skype as well, so Skype on in here at username LRN.FM.
The internet has allowed an incredible amount of innovation in clothing and backpacks. You can see all kinds of ads for new or imagined products that propose to solve different problems. Some of them minor, some of them life-saving. But do they stop bullets? I recently got a vest from bulletblocker.com. It's a company founded by a former Army Ranger and a firearms instructor with the goal of making backpacks for kids to protect them in case of a school shooting. Now, in fact, they've grown their selection to having a huge selection of clothing, backpacks, briefcases, and more. You can that these things can, in fact, save your life. The products are attractive, well made right here in the U.S., and you got to have a nice jacket. You might as well have one that stops bullets. Get something for the whole family. This isn't the kind of thing you get a second chance at. BulletBlocker.com. If the lives in your family are priceless, protect them at BulletBlocker.com.
Our toll-free number here tonight, 855-450-FREE, like freedom. We're going to continue with your calls and thoughts. The Bitcoin controversy. Who's the true Bitcoin? They are going to be fighting over this for quite a while. The geek war, round one might be over at this point, but we're not out of the woods yet on this thing. So we're going to keep you informed as that develops. But you can also call in about anything you want, as Christopher Cantwell is doing here, calling us from his studio at the Radical Agenda Studios in Keene, New Hampshire. Hello, Chris.
Hey, it's good to be with you, fellas. How's it going?
Hey, what's on your mind tonight?
So I just I was actually going through just reading some news here, and I saw this story that I thought I might bring to your attention. This Aleutian, I don't know if I'm saying this right, a town in Alaska.
Aleutian.
Seems to have its entire police force is gone. Not that it was a very large one. Apparently they had 3 cops and the chief, and a couple of them had left, and then the chief had a planned month-long vacation to Scotland, and while he was gone, the city council had decided that they were no longer going to provide him with employment. And so they no longer have a police department. But according to the piece I'm reading here, on July 20th, the city of Sandpoint released a PSA calling for calm, saying that while the police department was, quote, in transition, citizens should rest assured that the community will not be in a lawless state. Things actually went pretty smoothly in the days the town was without a police department, said Austin Roof, the general manager of the local public radio station. Everybody was busy fishing, which was great, Roof said. And I was just thinking to myself, you know what? They should do this in like Harlem, and then those guys would all just go fishing instead of shooting each other and selling crack, right?
I wouldn't imagine that that you're going to take a community that has a crime problem. I don't know what Harlem's crime problem is, and pull the cops out and have the same sort of thing happen.
What if the crime problem in your community?
No idea whatsoever, Mark. No idea what the crime problem in Harlem is.
I don't.
You don't want to take a guess or anything?
I know Chicago's a lot worse right now. I mean, I don't know if Harlem's heading up or down though.
What if the crime problem in that town, the Aleutian, whatever, is fishing without a license? Then maybe crime skyrocketed on that day.
Yeah, but you have to catch them to know if the crimes. You can only base crime statistics off of arrests, right? So by all the evidence, it would have gone down because they aren't making arrests for that.
Yeah, that's true. But the good news is that Sandpoint did not devolve into mass lawlessness, Varner said. There were no big police incidents, and the 911 and emergency services still work. If something had happened, the city would have called the Alaska State Troopers. So it wasn't, they did have the state troopers up there if they needed to call them in. But as it turns out, folks in Alaska.
I hope we can see more of that. I know that
there are towns here in New Hampshire that really basically do the same thing. They don't have a police force.
One of the towns in this area did it, as a matter of fact. They got rid of their one cop or half a cop or whatever it was, and they haven't replaced him.
It hasn't devolved into anarchy.
Yeah, and everything is okay.
So is the theme message for your call here smoke salmon, not rock?
Well, you could put that in the show notes if you want to. I just figured I'd make a racist comment about this when it worked in Harlem. Have a good night, fellas.
Hey, Chris, thanks for the call. Chris is actually going to be getting some extra publicity coming soon. The Southern Poverty Law Center is doing a piece about him. They called me yesterday to do an interview with that, and they were supposed to call back, but they never did. So I don't know. Maybe they got what they needed.
Maybe you're just a racist.
Nope, definitely not. They were asking about, why Chris ended up leaving the show, which did have to do with his sort of turn towards racism, which he is now. That's sort of his identity. That's that's his thing. I find it detestable. a viewpoint that I don't agree with, but that doesn't mean that I'm not willing to have a conversation with him. Because the question was asked to me, are you a friend of his? And I said, yeah, I'm still Chris's friend. He's a hard guy to be a friend with because some people will hate you because you're his friend. But my viewpoint is that as a minister in the Shire Free Church, which is a peace church, my job is to be the change I wish to see in the world, and that is to be a peaceful person and emulate that out into the world and be as true to that message as I can be, and share my view of people as individuals and love as the solution rather than anger and grouping people together and hating, which is sort of seems like Chris's message. So I think that if I were to do as some people want me to do and shut him out completely, don't even talk to him or whatever, that's just not who I am. That's not how I'm going to handle this. If Chris invites me on his show, I'm going to go. I'm
of a very, I'm always finding myself in a difficult position with this because, I've always hated racism and the whole idea of thinking that one race is better than another. I find it ridiculous. I find it utterly
detestable.
I just find it, detestable, whatever. I just find it ridiculous. I think the whole idea is a bad idea, and I don't like to support bad ideas. But at the same time, I have no problem with stereotypes and acknowledging stereotypes and acknowledging, statistics and facts and information. And I've always found racial humor and jokes about stereotypes in general to be very funny. I like blue humor. So, it's a
fine line.
It's a fine line. It's a very, it's a very weird position, that I have with Chris, and I think within, a day or two of meeting Chris or whatever, he unfriended me on Facebook because I trolled him into oblivion. I told him, he was like, shoot cops. I'm like, you first. You're unfriended. It didn't go very well. So,
but you guys get along in real life.
Yeah, generally, yeah. And, we have our debates and whatnot because he'll bring up racist stuff. And I'm like, no, I disagree with him just openly and every time. Right. And he obviously, he's like, but, you have to believe this. I'm like, no, I don't. And, I can acknowledge what you're saying about your facts being true, okay, this is fact, this is fact, this is fact. And then he'll come to this conclusion that's racist. And it's like, well, no, just because these statistics might be true about, these things does not mean that it's inherent or genetic or, any of these things. It just doesn't necessarily point to that, to me anyway.
Right.
So,
and even if it did, it still doesn't matter to me because only the individual is what matters.
Right. So I am a member of if you want to make groups, right, I'm a member of a minority that is very likely to commit crimes.
Oh.
I'm a male.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't know what the percentage of violent crimes that are committed between males and females that are caught in arrests and all that stuff.
You're also a male who's been to prison.
I am that too.
It's an even higher likelihood.
I don't want to be considered to, I don't want that to besmirch me. The fact that I'm male, does that mean that every time a crime's committed, somebody should come knocking on my door and say, "Hey, there's a crime committed in the area. Looks like you might have been involved. You're male after all."
See, if I were to channel Cantwell here, I'd be like, "Well, if you're a feminist, you're a male, so obviously you're a rapist." And every time.
Well, I have a lot of sympathy for that position. Feminists, have basically lost control of the message, and the man haters have taken over. Sorry to say, but that's what it looks like from where I sit. That it just looks very much like some people that are very damaged have gotten a hold of the message. They really they dislike rapers, or as I like to call them, men, and they just. They've lost their minds, but that's not my problem. I don't claim to be a feminist. I don't claim. I try not to claim to be any parts of any of these groups, but people are going to stick me in groups anyway. They're going to say, "Huh, you're male." Well, then wait, did you just assume my gender? I'm triggered.
Yeah. I was reading some article recently about this woman who was accusing her male children of,
she's nuts.
I've raised them, but they could still potentially become rapists.
Yeah.
Because they're men.
It's
like,
bananas.
oh my God. Yeah.
Wow, yeah, I missed that one.
Oh yeah, it was pretty disturbing. And then she was covered. It got covered on some right wing.
And she was covered very, very well by people that find the position to be disgusting. So she got pretty much what she wanted.
Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. And what we want is for you to control the airwaves. You can bring up any topic you want. As Chris Campbell just proved. We've been talking about cryptocurrency. And we finished that article from...
yes.
Okay. Yep. About the Blockstream guys. All right, more on the way here. Let's change gears and get into some other news. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. The cop planting evidence. That's what's next on Free Talk Live. Have you wanted to get into Bitcoin mining but don't want to deal with the hassle and frustration of operating the mining hardware? Let pool.bitcoin.com handle it for you like I did. For an investment of as low as $129, you can have a lifetime mining contract and support the Bitcoin network. If you already have mining equipment, you're invited to join pool.bitcoin.com. It's the most profitable pool for miners, paying 120% of the block reward. That's pool.bitcoin.com.
What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com. There's no better app for tracking the value of cryptocurrencies than CoinCap. I've had a lot of apps for tracking Bitcoin, but none that's ever been able to track 500 digital assets at once. Their best feature is the Altfolio. I love this thing. You enter how many Bitcoins, Ether, Dash, Doge, or whatever else you have, and it tells you how much your crypto is worth. You can watch yourself get rich. If you have crypto, go right now to coincap.io, or you can use the Apple Store or Google Play to get the app. I love CoinCap. coincap.io.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Tuesday, August 1st, 2017. Silver is trading at $16.73 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,266 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 4.6 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $2,800. Antiwar.com reports moving to get more overtly involved in the country where most of their efforts in recent years have been covert. The U.S. on Monday announced a new round of sanctions against Venezuela's President Nicolas Maduro, which they say was meant to express disapproval over the weekend's election. In an attempt to consolidate full control over the government by the United Socialist Party, Maduro organized the election to establish a National Constituent Assembly, which would have the power to overrule the existing parliament and which is being stacked with Maduro allies. With public calls to boycott by materially all opposition groups, the vote is heavily contested, with official claims of around 8 million voters, more than double the estimates of independent analysts. The high formal turnout and wide margins of victory are seen as the Maduro government trying to give the proceedings an air of legitimacy. The U.S. government has been eager to insert itself into the affairs of Latin America for generations, and this looks no different, with the administration seemingly salivating at the prospect of declaring Venezuela an illegal government and a dictatorship, and vowing that democracy, by which they doubtless mean U.S. intervention, will prevail. Yet the Venezuelan opposition isn't eager to see the U.S. throw itself into the middle of all of this, warning against U.S. efforts to impose an oil embargo on the country, which is apparently the go-to suggestion of Senator Marco Rubio. Indeed, many in the opposition believe that anything the U.S. does will be bad news for them, as it will allow Maduro, with at least some credibility, to argue that he is a victim of U.S. imperialism, and that suggestion will split the substantial bloc of Latin American countries who are critical of Maduro's actions. In making this somehow America's problem, the Trump administration sets itself up as a convenient scapegoat for Maduro and harms the credibility of genuine Venezuelan opposition groups by allowing the Venezuelan government to paint them as secretly in league with the United States. For nearly 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases and have permanently removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports a federal judge on Monday found Joe Arpaio, former sheriff in Maricopa County, Arizona, guilty of ignoring a judge's order to stop racial profiling in immigration enforcement. U.S. District Judge Susan Bolton said Arpaio is guilty of contempt of court for failing to comply with an order from U.S. District Judge G. Murray Snow in 2011 to stop detaining people based only on the belief that they are in the United States illegally. Arpaio, the former Republican sheriff of Maricopa County, Arizona for 24 years, was a staunch opponent of undocumented immigration and instituted policies that led some supporters to refer to him as the toughest sheriff in America. Arpaio's lawyers argued that Snow's order was unclear and that willful intention was required to prove criminal contempt. The former sheriff issued a statement to the Arizona Republic saying he plans to appeal the ruling so that he can get a trial by jury. Bolton has scheduled sentencing for October 5th. In 2115 New England, there are no borders, no states, and no regulations, yet never has a more peaceful and prosperous place existed. But Mr. Drake's security company has seen better days. Faced with the prospect of waning power, Mr. Drake intends to replace the anarchy of New England with a government. Anarchy in New England by Joe Jarvis is available from Amazon.com and all major bookstores. Reuters reports President Donald Trump ousted recently hired White House communication chief Anthony Scaramucci on Monday over an obscene tirade, according to sources familiar with the decision, in the latest staff upheaval for the 6-month-old administration. The move, coming just 10 days after the president named Scaramucci to the post, took place on the first day of work for Trump's new chief of staff, retired Marine Corps General John Kelly, who sources said was seeking to impose order on a White House riven with factions and backbiting. A source close to Trump said the president fretted over the weekend about what to do about Scaramucci, calling his advisors to ask their opinions, all of whom told him the tough-talking aide had to go. Trump was reportedly annoyed about Scaramucci's lewd comments to the New Yorker magazine published last Thursday. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
Already struggling to get by on the basic necessities of day-to-day life, lunatics across the nation confirmed today that they are now barely able to afford the quickly rising price of car meat.
I've got 14 Barbara Streisands to feed and 3 more on the way. Day and night they shout, "We're hungry, Admiral. We want grade A Honda-loaf. We want Nissan truck."
I just want to know what Bruno Mars plans to do about this. He sits around all day eating Audi ribeye and limousine bouillabaisse while we scrape by with taxi shanks. Meanwhile, the men at arms are still overseas fighting the war on Wheel of Fortune.
For more on this story, check this week's Onion Review.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live. You can dial toll-free to join us on the radio waves here. Our number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Joining you in the studio tonight, it's Ian.
And Johnson.
And Mark.
All right, coming up, somebody got some cash stolen from them by the police, and they weren't arrested. It's yet another civil asset forfeiture story. Mark's going to share that with us. But an even worse story is a cop that was caught planting evidence in at least one case has now resulted in the prosecutor throwing out 34 cases. The story coming out of Baltimore, WTOP reporting that 34 criminal cases have now been dismissed in Baltimore amid the investigation into the alleged planting of evidence by a Baltimore City police officer. 12 cases that were thrown out, according to the state's attorney Marilyn Mosby, involve defendants who are all now serving time for convictions. In all, 123 cases are being reviewed by prosecutors in light of police body camera footage that was released by the Public Defender's Office. Defense attorneys claim the body camera footage shows an officer planting a can with drugs at a crime scene before activating his body camera. He's then seen returning to the can and pulling out a baggie with white capsules. The officer wearing the camera has been suspended by the department. 2 other officers heard and seen in the video have been placed on administrative suspension or administrative duty. The Public Defender's Office identified the officer as Officer Richard Pinero. Quote, "We are dismissing those cases which relied exclusively on the credibility of these officers," said Mosby. The state's attorney's office said the cases that were dismissed involved felony drug and gun possession charges and convictions. Mosby said, quote, "We have to talk to witnesses and ensure that we do our due diligence in completing a thorough evaluation." During a Friday afternoon news conference, Mosby also said another piece of body camera footage not related to this case has come to light, but wouldn't elaborate on that particular video. And what they don't tell you in this story is that what happened was the cop in this case, what he didn't realize when he was turning his camera on to record him finding the drugs that he planted was that the camera actually is constantly recording even when it's off. It's one of those newer digital cameras where you can do this with...
Not constantly. It's 30 seconds or something.
It's got a 30-second buffer.
But it's got a buffer. So what that means is it is basically always recording. It's just that when you hit the record button, it keeps the last 30 seconds that were in that buffer. So it's the 30 seconds is constantly being refreshed every new second that's coming into it. But as soon as you hit record, you have what happens from the point you hit record on, but also the 30 seconds before you hit the record button. And so this cop didn't know that about his camera. He thought he was being all smart by only starting it after he planted the drugs, but it turns out he'd planted the drugs within that 30-second window. So the video caught him planting the drugs, leaving the room, turning the camera on, then going back in to find...
Hey, look what I found!
Whoa, there's pills in here.
So, this is a mistake that the police officer made, and he was obviously...
It's going to cost him his job, probably.
Yeah, and as it should.
Cost him his life.
I think the penalty for somebody who is wearing the badge while committing a crime should be higher than it is for the rest of us hoi polloi.
I don't actually mean he should be killed for this, but
it should be a high penalty.
Yeah.
It's not going to be.
No, he's not going to go to prison
because it would cost. Because essentially, what it would cost somebody else most of their life, right? I mean,
he's put men in prison. It has been costing them their lives.
And this is the point that I want to make on this: is that this is a guy that didn't make the briefing
about the body cameras.
Right. But how many times did this go on? And has this go on today?
Yeah.
And the police officer understood how to work the camera or covered it with their hand or did whatever they did.
Yeah.
And the answer is we can't possibly know.
Correct.
Now, I used to work with law enforcement. When I was in prison, I was the staff canteen operator. I served the cops coffee. And I worked there for 6 years for $75 a month. $75 a month was my paycheck. And I talked to officers on a pretty regular basis. One of the ones that I worked with, I'm not going to give his name or anything like that, but he was a sergeant. He said he'd been in the business a long time. I asked him, about sort of setting people up. And he said, look, sometimes somebody's a bad guy.
You got to do what you got to do.
And you can't catch them. So, yeah, I've set people up.
Wow.
You see, he admitted. He said that, yes, he's set people up because he knew they were bad guys. And he may very well be right. They might very well have been bad guys. I can't answer that. But, here you have an admission from one officer, one sergeant, and, how many times does this go on? I can tell you some officers would never do this. But I would have considered this guy one of the good guys, or at least one of the mediocre guys. I'm kind of the opinion there's 25% good guys, 50% sort of, just normal human beings, and then 25% bad guys is what I saw. And I wouldn't have put him in that bad guy category. But I sure would put anybody in that bad guy category that, that would do this sort of thing. So, there's my bias.
The toll-free number here, if you want to join us, 855-450-FREE, like freedom. Yeah, I suspect that cases like this are the tip of the iceberg. We don't know how deep the corruption runs, but we do know, having spoken to a number of former officers over the history of doing this radio show, both in person and on the radio, it sure does feel like there's a whole lot of corruption out there. It does. If
it's human beings, then there's going to be some corruption.
Human beings in power,
right?
You better believe it.
And then what's acceptable corruption and what isn't acceptable corruption in a given group. Like I said, I was in prison. I also did the speeches, whenever they needed an inmate to stand in front of a group of civilians that was taking a tour, whether that was young people who'd gotten in trouble, or the local college group, or the Ladies Voters Society, or whatever it was.
That was you.
They trotted me out. And sort of, I was allowed. Here's what I was authorized by one person who sort of ran the this speaking thing. One sergeant. When they asked me about sort of violence by officers against inmates, and I would say that, look, it would be very, very bad for me if I tried to give you some specific instances or named names and told dates. But I will say that every once in a while, some inmate who probably roundly deserves it falls up a flight of stairs. So I was authorized to say that.
Wow.
Sometimes some inmates will fall up a flight of stairs.
Yeah.
Now, anybody who understands gravity understands
Can't do that.
People don't fall upstairs. They fall down. So when you say fall up, you're acknowledging that these things happen.
Okay.
So I was allowed to acknowledge that these things happened in speeches to the public.
It's interesting, and you can share your thoughts with us. Bring up whatever's on your mind. Mark, you had a police-related story about an asset that got confiscated, in this case, $30-something thousand in cash. Did you want to share that story with us?
WALB.com reports from Lowndes, what is it? Lowndes County, Georgia. Georgia State Patrol officers made a major bust during an I-75 traffic stop. The trooper pulled a vehicle over for failure to move over, while Lowndes County Captain Ed Christian performed a traffic stop on I-75 Sunday evening just after 5 p.m. Now, I've got some questions. Failure to move over.
It's probably because the cop was in the lane pulled somewhat over, perhaps?
Yeah. County Sheriff Captain Ed Christian performed a traffic stop?
Yeah.
Captain Ed Christian performed a traffic stop?
You're suggesting it's unlikely that a captain would be in a cruiser pulling people over?
Unless a tip was given that this car will be here at this
with
time.
With a bunch of money?
Or whatever. Then at which point the captain certainly wants to be on site. Otherwise, the captain's busy at the station.
That's an interesting point.
Yeah. Just a thought.
Yeah.
Captain Stride Jones said that, now this is a different captain, Christian's canine was tipped off to something inside the car that was pulled over for failure to move over. Okay, we all know that canines can be urged to alert. We've seen the over and over again, the studies on this.
Was this a cash-sniffing canine? Is that the idea? Because the dude didn't have any drugs, right? They just found cash. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE like freedom. This is Free Talk Live.
Did you know if you invested $1,000 in Bitcoin in early 2010, you'd have nearly $35 million right now? $1,000 in Ethereum in 2014 would be over $500,000. Isn't it time you focused on investing in blockchains and cryptos? Get up to speed on a new digital world of Bitcoin, Ethereum, ICOs, and blockchains. Hands-on intensive investment workshops so you can be confident buying, selling, and trading. Don't miss out. Go to 100xinvestors.com. Use code FTL20 for 20% off. That's code FTL20, 20% off. 100xinvestors.com.
I've discovered the next big thing on the internet. Symbi.com is a symbiotic economy with its own currency where people trade services virtually and locally. Forget the old economy. This is your economy. Simbi.com is slick to use and is backed by the same people that helped launch Reddit and Airbnb. I'm not kidding when I say this is the next big thing. Trust me. Go get an account at Simbi.com. Take a look around and post your services. Simbi, SIMBI.com.
Aging is one thing that affects everyone. George has talked about the power of stem cells for years. Now, there's a new serum that harnesses that stem cell power to bring back your youthful look. Beverly Hills doctor Nathan Newman.
Stem cells are basically our fountain of youth. This is what maintains our body's reparative, regenerative abilities. As we age, every cell breaks down and needs to be replaced, and what replaces it is the stem cell.
Dr. Newman and Janess have developed Lumin-S. Lumin-S takes the science of stem cells, using the same growth factor complex that literally heals our cells, slowing the appearance of the aging process. Apply Lumin-S twice daily, and on average, see results in a week. Learn more, watch our video, and order today at a special Coast website, healthylooking.com. Plus, there's a 30-day money-back guarantee. Again, that's healthylooking.com. Lumin-S, for a healthier, much younger, better-looking you. Buy now at healthylooking.com.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that 1/10 of a calorie it takes to click on something. facebook.freetalklive.com.
When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. You dial toll-free if you want to join us on the radio. You can take control of the airwaves at 855-450-FREE, like freedom, 855-450-3733. And we do have Skype. You can Skype into the show at Skype username LRN.FM. You know, we did a lot of talking about Bitcoin earlier in the show here tonight. But it's not the only cryptocurrency in the world, and there's another one that we're pretty interested in here at Free Talk Live, and that's Dash. And that's not just because they're a sponsor of the show. They are actually a really unique setup in the world of cryptocurrency. They've got a built-in funding mechanism to fund Dash's expansion. Unlike all these other cryptos that just kind of exist, and the people that really like them kind of promote them, like Roger Ver promotes Bitcoin, and you know, that's great, but that's Roger tapping into his own personal funds to do that. With Dash, they've got the promotional budget built right into the cryptocurrency. there's a 10% of the mining rewards that are actually distributed by the master nodes in the system. The people who are the most invested in Dash get to make decisions about how the system is run, and they've decided they want to promote Dash and get it out there, advertise it, incentivize the different companies in the Bitcoin marketplace to add Dash into their systems, for instance. So there's some really cool stuff going on with Dash. It is digital cash, and it's a digital money platform designed to replace cash and help people manage their own wealth. It's fast, private, and easy. Fees are low, and transactions are fast and can even be confirmed instantly. You can pay anyone, anywhere in the world, anytime for just pennies on the dollar. And Dash is decentralized and run by users who earn rewards for helping run the network and make governance decisions. I remember when Dash first came out, I was like, oh, great, it's another altcoin. I remember when we interviewed the dude at Evan, I think was his name, Duffield. We've interviewed him at least once on Free Talk Live from some Bitcoin seminar or another.
Yep.
And I remember it's like, all right, yeah, what makes your currency different from the other ones? I didn't see the vision for Dash until it finally broke into the top 10, and then we started to pay. I started to pay more attention to it at that point. It's like, wow, maybe this governance structure they have set up for this thing is the reason why has been as successful as it has, because it's hard to make a mark for yourself in the world of cryptocurrencies, but Dash has done that.
Yeah, it's got faster. It's got four times faster confirmation times than Bitcoin.
That's
It's
right.
got larger blocks built right in, which is what this whole dispute was about. It has mixing that's built right
Optional.
in, so you don't have to attempt to anonymize your Bitcoins by sending them through a mixing pool. That's just something that comes with your Dash, and it has this, and plus it has an instant send option, so you can send it even more quickly now. It's got a lot of it's got a lot of flash, a lot of features.
Really does. And you can learn more about it over at dash.org, where you can help create a better financial system for everyone. Take control over your financial future today. Find out more about Dash at dash.org as we go to your calls and thoughts here. We go first to Patch. He's in Illinois. Patch, you're on Free Talk Live with Ian Johnson and Mark.
Yeah, you were talking about the police confiscating things. When I used to ride around with my dad all the time, when he would clock off of work, he still would not shut it off. He on the way home after he would get drunk from the bar, he would drive around the city trying to pull people over, and that stuff he confiscated, he took home.
Yeah, you mentioned the other day when you called about this, your dad's a cop, that he would bring weed home and give it
not just weed.
Right, other drugs or whatever, and just give it to his friends or his other kids or something?
Well, he would give it to my brother and my brother's friends.
Wow.
Did your dad ever have to deal with any kind of trouble? I mean, it sounds like he messed around quite a bit.
Or did he get away with it all?
Yeah.
He did. Whenever he got into trouble, or he would lose it and destroy property in our place, and then when his buddies came there, they would take him to the hospital. He would be in the hospital for a couple weeks till they calmed him down, and then they would let him back home. Now, when he
What's
he
that?
would hit the bar right
say
after.
that again. I didn't understand what was said. I'm sorry.
Okay. Whenever he had violence, whenever he couldn't, because he needed that adrenaline all the time, and then when there wasn't nothing happening,
I see.
He would literally destroy our place where we lived. And then they would have to come up, get him, calm him down. They would put him in the hospital for a week or two until they got him under control, and then let him go back home and then go out on the street.
What was his rank when when he was
He got
retired?
to be a lieutenant.
Lieutenant. Okay.
Lieutenant.
That's management.
Yeah, he was 40 years. And I rode with him until I was 19. And then he would always call me after that and tell me all about, they hate those cameras.
Those cameras?
Oh, the body
They
cameras?
Yeah.
They hate, even the ones in the cars.
Mm.
They hate, he would even hit the bars right after he got off, and he would still be in his uniform. And whenever we get pulled over, he would just show him his badge. Those were nightmare rides going home. He actually tried to force a guy off the road once that had a wad of cash, was tapping on his dashboard. He was furious because the guy wouldn't pull off the road.
Sounds like it was an adventure living with this
Jeez.
guy. You've got a lot of terrible stories.
Well, I had to see all the homicide photographs that I had to see since I was 7 and all that stuff, and I seen a lot.
What do you do now, Patch?
Actually, I used to work for the government, but I don't work anymore because I not only became a whistleblower there about kids that were getting molested and assaulted, and he was furious over that, but I don't work anymore because his treatment of me turned me into permanently disabled.
Your dad disabled you?
Yes.
Was he beating you?
He was doing more than just that. And then they would take me in the hospital, put me in the hospital, patch me up, and take me back home. And that was the reason I was in the car with him all the time, because Child Family Services were looking for me. So because of that badge, he knew his rights, and mine weren't there. So...
Yeah, you certainly don't want your kid running into Child and Family Services if you're not there. I mean, I can see that one.
Especially if you're abusive.
Well, yeah, he was, when he wasn't around, handcuffs were my babysitter. So.
Wow, that's sick.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I had the sores around my ankles from them.
Jeez.
And the hospital would put me in there and wrap me up and fix me and let me go home.
And back to his custody you go. Wow, that's horrifying. Patch, thank you for calling and sharing what must be a difficult thing to discuss. I appreciate hearing from you tonight. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. And then, it's hard to go after cops in that position. He's a lieutenant in the local police department. He's impeccable. He can't be he can't be targeted for any kind of serious level investigation. It's very difficult to go after officers with a level of protection, and most of them do have a level of protection, even if they're not the lieutenant, even if they're just the lowly officer. They've still got the rest of the gang that'll rally around them and protect them because they're buddies, personally. Even if they know a thing or two about the bad behavior of one or the other, it's still in their best interest to just keep it quiet, keep it in the family, so to speak.
There is the thin blue line. I mean, that's a horrifying set of stories that Patch has, and I'm stunned by them, I've got to say, but those are his experiences,
You can bring up whatever you want here. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom, 855-450-3733. This is Free Talk Live.
You want to save money in a place that gives you growth, control, and certainty without stock market risk or tax risk, and you want guarantees and you want it all tax-free. That's a tall order. But you can get all of that with properly designed participating whole life insurance. Most people think life insurance pays after you're dead. That's true. But you can have tax-free access to use your life insurance while you're alive. Get the free book to find out how. Call 702-660-7000.
Welcome aboard. Your new science fiction adventure is ready to launch. Discover an amazing journey at GalaxyQuestBooks.com. Start a new sci-fi adventure with the Guardian series, a classic sci-fi mystery that starts 500 years in the future. From author D. Arthur Gussner. Series available from Barnes & Noble or Amazon as paperback or ebooks. GalaxyQuestBooks.com, where the adventure begins.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agristhosting.com.
Imagine, if you will, a virtual world, a symbiotic economy with its own currency, where you can barter your services with others. Symbi.com is a marketplace of real people exchanging skills and services, from web developers, marketers, video production specialists, and teachers of all sorts, to gaming consulting or fitness coaching. Symbi.com is a vast world of people trading freely. Take my word for it, it's an adventure you can't afford to miss. Simbi.com.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You can dial in toll-free here. We're talking about corrupt cops. One of them busted for planting drugs, busted by his own police body camera. And then there's other cops. We just had a guy call in whose dad apparently was just a horrifyingly corrupt cop, and a violent and dangerous one to boot. With you tonight, it's Ian.
And Johnson.
And Mark.
Toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. Like Freedom, we're going to go back to your calls and thoughts here. But, Mark, I wanted to get an update from you about hope.freetalklive.com. What is it and what's going on?
Well, it is our project to build an orphanage in Jinja, Uganda. It's going pretty well, and we're still taking donations, looking for the next phase at $3,000. So if you want to help us build this orphanage, please go to hope.freetalklive.com. Your contribution will be matched by both Cell 411 and Jax.io. Making your $10 into $30, making your $50 into $150, making your $100 into $300. So that's what we need to get moving on to the next phase. We are getting started, hopefully by the end of this week, on the construction of the second story. We're probably about halfway done with this building. We've sent $16,000 so far, and I'm thinking it's going to be about 25. It's 25 total. So there you go. Hope.freetalklive.com. Please help us help these orphans. There are about 45 of them. They're currently sleeping in a room that doesn't have electricity. They're sleeping head to toe on the floor, and that's no way for a kid to grow up.
Indeed. Hope.freetalklive.com. To the phones, to the fun. We got Matt. He's in Vegas. You're on Free Talk Live with Ian Johnson and Mark. Hello, Matt.
Hey, Ian, Mark, and other guy.
Johnson.
Whatever happened to Johnson?
He's sitting here.
Whatever happened to the Dave? Was it Dave in Arizona? He's like a retarded guy. He was calling.
No, you're thinking about Dave in New York. You're thinking about Dave in New York. He's not retarded. He's not retarded. He's just not that bright.
No, there was a guy from Arizona.
James in Arizona.
James.
You talking about the angry guy? The angry man who calls?
No, he's probably retarded.
Does he still call in?
No, he was banned from calling the show for a 2-month time frame. That 2-month time frame expired like more than a month ago at this point, and
he didn't figure it out because he's retarded.
I actually figured he would have put it on his calendar because he's got some sort of compendium of all the topics he's called about and on what days and everything. He seems like really well organized with old quotes of things we've said and things like that. So I was surprised when he didn't actually call the very first day that his ban was lifted, and he actually hasn't called since that
drinking.
time. He did call the Cody O'Connor show, the Off the Air Live, however, in the time frame that he was banned from Free Talk Live. So it's not like he's gone away completely. He's definitely still out there listening to LRN.FM, and although he hasn't called Cody's show in a little while, but that might be because I banned all unlisted numbers. So if you call the backlines here, which he had the number to. If you call the back lines here in the studio with an unlisted or whatever they call it, the blocked number, then we just won't let that call through.
Right.
So if he's going to call with his regular number, which he could still do if he wanted to. But I told him, look, what happened was he kept calling back. So he was on Cody's show, offtheairlive.com is that show. He was on the show. They were, they had an argument, as tends to happen with James's calls, and then he kept calling back incessantly afterwards, just continuously. And we need to have open phones to let other people call in on. And so I told James, look, you got to stop calling in.
It was basically a DDoS attack.
Yeah. I said, look, you got to stop calling in. I can't have this to where you're the one guy who's calling the phone lines to where nobody else can call in.
But he was like, "Rah!"
Yeah. Well, I mean, he was insulting and rude and whatever. And so I said, look, you call back one more time, and I'm going to have to ban your number. And he called back one more time. So I, contacted my technical administrator of the phone system here, and I said, can you ban whoever that last caller was? He said no, that it was an unknown number. I said, well, can you ban all unknown numbers? He said yes. So there you go. Problem solved.
Well, I kind of missed those calls. Anyways, my question is kind of a two-part question. The 40% reduction in testosterone, what did you guys think of causing that?
What are we talking about here?
Who's lost 40% of their testosterone?
In the U.S., they did a study, and it was like 40% lower over the last, I don't know, was it 4 decades or something?
40%.
U.S. and Europe, actually.
I hadn't heard.
I'm just going to go ahead and take your word for it at this point. I have not looked this up. Please do not, listeners, please do not take this as fact. But you want some wild conjecture from me as to why it's happened?
Sure.
Men aren't doing men things anymore. There's two purposes of a person with a Y chromosome. That's to spread genetic diversity and lop the heads off of the people who spread genetic diversity. And well, frankly, with marriage and serial monogamy, we're not spreading the genetic diversity that we used to do. And frankly, acting like you're a male is pretty much frowned upon these days. Secondly, lopping heads off is highly illegal.
But wait, are you saying, Mark, that testosterone comes from acting like a male, or that acting like a male comes from testosterone? Because
both of those things. 100%. If your sports team wins, you get a boost of testosterone.
Is that true?
Yeah. You know why you're acting the way you're acting today about Bitcoin Cash? You're getting a sort of a boost from a hormonal boost from the happiness that you have around whatever you're seeing occur. Your team, whatever team that is winning or doing well. So you're getting a hormone boost.
Supposedly, men get a hormone boost simply from looking at an attractive woman.
It's true.
Okay.
Yep.
Huh.
What do you get a hormone boost from, Ian?
I don't see anything about this in the news, by the way. I'm looking for testosterone down. Where did you see this?
Testosterone drop in males. I've seen multiple. Oh, there's a study about soy, and then the soy study cited that, and I forget where they cited it, but I've heard it like multiple places.
Yeah, okay. Sperm counts have dropped in the West by 60%, but that's not the same thing as testosterone. I don't know, man. What was the source? Where did you see this?
I don't have it.
You don't remember?
It was a study from the soy, and the soy study cited the reduction in testosterone. But before that, I've heard it multiple times.
I can tell you
this. You got transgenders in the military and all this, like, they're teaching it now in school and everything. And I mean, it seems like that's the case. If you look back in history, in World War II and stuff, you can see it just looks like men who are like really men, like now.
I know they've lost grip strength. You can look that up.
Males have lost grip strength?
Grip strength among modern males is significantly lower than it was for their fathers and their grandfathers.
I wonder why that is.
Because they're not swinging a hammer.
Well, also, I would say the elimination of jungle gyms and whatnot on in schools and stuff like that.
I wouldn't. You don't maintain grip strength that long, though. I mean, my dad got up at 5 a.m. to go and weld molds to make glass orange juice containers at
what
Tropicana.
Did they say about muscle memory? Once you build a certain amount of muscle, you're going to get it back easier,
more easily.
So if you're swinging from swinging from the monkey bars as a kid, you're going to probably maintain some of that grip strength your entire life.
Agreed. But they do have monkey bars. I mean, you can go look at.
I'm sure kids are not using them nearly in the ratio that they were in the 50s.
They probably aren't because they've got video games to look at. And
haven't the playgrounds been dumbed down or whatever?
I bet kids who have Wiis have higher grip strength.
Yeah, that too.
The Nintendo Wii?
Yeah, they have to hold that controller so they don't throw it through the TV.
That's true, and that has happened too, as I understand it.
The jungle gyms still have things that you grip on.
They do.
They're just less. They just got rid of the spikes beneath the monkey bars or whatever.
I must have missed the spikes.
Yeah,
that apparently was. They didn't have that when I was in school. Hey, Matt, thanks for the call tonight. I appreciate the discussion. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE, like freedom, 855-450-3733. And he has been summoned. James in Arizona is on hold.
Hey!
More coming up here.
Talk about it. Speaking of retarded, he appears.
In moments, it's Free Talk Live.
Dash is digital cash, a digital currency designed to replace cash and help people manage their own wealth. It's fast and easy, fees are low, and transactions are confirmed instantly. Pay anyone, anywhere in the world, anytime, for just pennies on the dollar. Dash is the first digital money that's governed by its users. Join Dash and help us build a better financial system for everyone. Find out more at dash.org. That's dash.org.
DVD, books, music, instruments, periodicals, computers, software, electronics, photo, cell phones, office products, home and garden, bed and bath, furniture, kitchen, pet supplies, automotive, hardware, apparel, shoes, jewelry, grocery, healthcare, sports and outdoors, toys, games, used, and more. It's a department store at your fingertips. Shop.freetalklive.com. Get all your shopping done, get a great deal, and a portion of your purchase goes to benefit Free Talk Live when you enter Amazon via shop.freetalklive.com.
It's about time something new came along for better selling and buying online. And I found it.
What now, Marge?
It's buysellmakeoffer.com.
Never heard of it.
It's a brand new company. That's why you've never heard of it. It's the newest and best way to sell any products online. I did all the research.
Sell my car?
Yes.
Our home?
Yep.
My golf bag?
Your golf clubs. All of them.
How about your purse collection hoard?
Hey, now.
You said any product.
You're right. I did. We get 30 days free.
And membership is only $9.95.
Yep. And buysellmakeoffer.com will never charge item fees, ever. Never. And this is cool. Listen to this. You can even use Skype or video to show your items.
That's cool.
Yes. All we have to do is go to the website, sign up, and then load our stuff to sell. I love this site.
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. You got it?
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. Better selling, better buying.
Officials at PepsiCo announced today the upcoming launch of Mountain Dew Cineblast after the company's market research team unknowingly fell victim to a malicious focus group that convinced them cinnamon-flavored Mountain Dew was the next big thing.
The people in the focus group, they couldn't get enough of it. And then they said, the more cinnamon, the better. So we are going to put in more cinnamon. We are really excited for people to try this product.
According to PepsiCo's data, all gathered from a single group of ill-intentioned respondents, customers of all ages will love the new soft drink's murky brownish-green color and will soon be lining up to try the carbonated beverage jam-packed with ground cinnamon. Various members of the focus group told reporters they believed the company had made a great decision.
Cineblast is the best. I mean, I can't wait to tell all of my friends to go buy this thing.
Yeah. The only way they can make it better is if they took a couple of raw eggs, mixed them up in the bottle. People would go nuts.
This is the Onion News Network.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
Hi, this is Mark Edge of Free Talk Live. Michael W. Dean's book, User's Manual for the Human Experience, changed my life. In a culture that attempts to turn you into a compliant victim, this book gives you implementable steps on everything from how to be aware of your environment, walking down the street, to business, to how to handle a toxic person in your life. If you're a human, you need to read this book at least once. Go to Amazon and get the Kindle version, or paperback, or an audiobook of A User's Manual for the Human Experience.
You can connect with the Liberty Radio Network via our Facebook page at facebook.lrn.fm. That's facebook.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. Moments remain here. Maybe enough time for you if you dial in now. And he's gone. James in Arizona. At least somebody calling in claiming to be James in Arizona is no longer on hold. He dropped off the line shortly after we went to the break there. So that's what I get for teasing it. That's what I get. Maybe that's his way of, showing us. I'm just going to hang up now that they've promised to put me on. But either way,
I got you, Minister Freeman.
Unblock him on
unblock him from
Skype, and then you can just see the diatribe that he hammers out to you if it's him.
Yeah, that's true, because he was blocked on Skype, and you're right. I don't think I had. I'll have to double check and see if I've unblocked him there already or not. But anyway, we're referring to James, who used to call regularly, who was banned. You, Mark, said that you actually welcome James calling into the show.
Well, I don't know about welcome. If he does a bad call, I think his banning period should be shorter than the 2 months that you'd put in place.
So, yeah,
of course you do, Minister Edge. You crave the pious wisdom.
I don't even remember how you unblock people. I know there's some way to do it on here. I'll have to do it later on. But anyway.
You and your little pen pal.
Huh?
You and your little pen pal.
You're talking about James?
Yeah.
I don't write back to him.
No, you don't.
He writes diatribes, but I sometimes read them because it's amusing. But yeah, I think he's unblocked on Skype. Mark, I don't see him in here.
Okay.
Anyway, so yeah, he is welcome. Oh no, he is there. I'll unblock him right now from the Skype so he can call in there. But I was surprised considering you have been taking your headphones off when he called, like you were in protest of his calls, taking your headphones off, and that was one of the reasons why I decided to bring the blocking policy into play. And so now you're saying you will not take your headphones off if James Whittakind calls back in.
Well, not initially.
Not
if he
initially.
Freaks out and goes absolutely ape.
But is he's still not allowed to threaten you and your family?
Oh, but what about you? Is he allowed to threaten you?
I really don't care.
Yeah, you just
really it doesn't matter to me.
Fine.
But that's a prohibition. He's not allowed
you
to
cannot threaten me or my family.
No more threatening. I just want to make sure
I'm not going to talk to you if you threaten me and my family as a means to making your argument.
Okay. And then also one of the other things was he wasn't allowed to call in incessantly about things that had happened in the past.
That was your rule.
That was my rule, and I still want to stick to that rule because it's boring.
It is boring
to have him call about that.
stuff. Last week you said such and such about me.
Sometimes it'll be like in
Freeman.
2014, Ian Freeman said this.
Yeah. I mean seriously.
So let's go to your calls and your thoughts. Let's talk to Morgan in Indiana. You're on Free Talk Live. Hello, Morgan.
Hello. I'm so glad I got through to you guys because I'm really confused about the fork.
The fork, the Bitcoin fork, the split of Bitcoin into two different blockchains happened earlier today. What can we clear up for you?
Well, I hope it'd be great if you guys can clear it up, but I listened to Roger on, what was that, Sunday? I think you guys had Roger on.
Roger Ver from Bitcoin.com, yes.
Yeah, thought it was awesome, enlightening. I've always thought that of what I've heard him say.
Mm-hmm.
And But I've been really busy the last couple of days, so I had just a little bit of time. Early, wee hours of the morning, I watched the Max Kaiser report. And he's got somebody on from Switzerland. I'm afraid I can't regurgitate his name. But basically, the guy says the same sorts of things that Roger's saying, only about the other side. And Roger by name, of course. I mean, it could have been the same sort of presentation that, it's actually the cash people that are ruining Bitcoin. I'm sure you guys are more aware than I, but it was hauntingly, and I find Max Kaiser to be a good source of information generally. And I've skimmed enough headlines, I guess, in the last 24 hours to see that there are other places where there are core people very nebulously saying that it's these darn cash people that have come in and are trying to ruin Bitcoin and make it something that it was never intended to be. The same sorts of accusations.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, this is going to be this ongoing fight of who's the true Bitcoin, and it's annoying.
This is why I've given the advice, hold, right? Like take your Bitcoin and your Bitcoin Cash, hold on to it, and see what happens. I'm not prepared to dig in and take the kind of time that it's going to take for me to come to an opinion on which of these is going to win and which of these is going to lose, because it could go a variety of different ways, and you can't. I mean, when you're dealing with situations like that, you just simply can't predict the future. So I say hold. Go ahead.
What about the intention, though? Do you guys feel aware enough? I mean, I completely related with what Roger had to say, that this was the intention of Bitcoin, and that who cares if it splits? Let's each have our own Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm.
All that made total sense to me, but to listen to the other side speak, I mean, they completely make it out as though it's the cash people that are trying to ruin Bitcoin and ruin the intention of Bitcoin and everything that Nakamoto wanted it to be, the very same sorts of things, which I so empathize with hearing them from Roger.
Yeah.
Hear the other side levy the same accusation.
Well, of course, I mean, every side is going to claim they are the ones we are the ones with the true adherence to Satoshi.
I've never heard the other side make that claim.
Yeah,
So
I
this
can't
is kind
see
of
how.
bewildering to me.
I can't see how.
I've heard them say, "Well, we need to make these changes in order to, make
it better.
Make it better, or we need to make these so that we can have
They don't
larger
harken back to
investments."
Satoshi.
Or,
They don't.
No, I've never heard that before. So this is sort of interesting. I would need to hear this Max Kaiser show that he's
right. I think that
I think it was the Kaiser report from the 21st. I want to say the 21st of July. It would be real close to that, if not the 21st.
I would guess that the Bitcoin core people would largely have to say something to the effect of, look, Satoshi Nakamoto was a genius when it came to the creation of Bitcoin and the blockchain, but we have better programmers, and that segregated witness is a better solution to the block size issue. So,
and maybe they're right.
Bitcoin Cash, it may very well be a better solution. Yeah. Look, Henry Ford didn't know everything about making a great car, but he made the Model T, which had a great deal of commercial success. And then at some point, something else came along and, replaced it. Not to say that Fords don't have a great deal of commercial success these days. But, I mean, if anyone can claim sort of originality, I think Bitcoin Cash can claim to be the closest to the sort of Satoshi's white paper on Bitcoin. That seems like a fair statement to me. Now, does that mean that they're going to win?
It doesn't. Yeah, not at all.
It doesn't mean that.
Who knows what the market's going to decide? Remember in the Ethereum case, when Ethereum split last year, the market put all their money behind Ethereum instead of Ethereum Classic, even though Ethereum Classic was arguably the one that was closest to the original vision, if you will, in that the Ethereum Classic was the one that was not willing to go back into time to fix an error. They said, well, you lost some money? Well, tough. That's tough lessons must be learned in this particular game. But the Ethereum, regular Ethereum folks went back in time and fixed things, and the market's been valuing the regular Ethereum much higher than Ethereum Classic. So, yeah, adherence to Satoshi Nakamoto's vision may not be what it takes for success in the marketplace. We'll see. Morgan?
Well, I sure appreciate your opinion, guys.
Hey, thanks for the call tonight.
Thanks, Morgan.
Appreciate hearing from you. Let's go to Parker. He's on the line in Washington State on Skype. Go ahead, Parker.
Hey, guys.
Hey.
So on the 27th of July, a guy was killed in the parking lot of an Albertsons in Wenatchee, Washington, which is my hometown.
Oh, dear.
the victim of the police shooting was wielding a knife, and so it's not necessarily out of line that the police used some amount of force to deal with the guy with the knife. But the aunt, for whom I'm friends with, and I both agree that they could have dealt with the situation without resorting to lethal force.
Obviously we're very short on time here. What was the circumstance? It was in a parking lot, dude with a knife. I mean, was he threatening somebody? Did he have someone at knife point?
So a 911 caller called into Rivercom, which is the local 911 dispatcher. And as the caller was on the phone, the perpetrator was walking towards the caller. So guy with
a knife and was threatening the person is the idea?
Well, reports also say that he was screaming. Now again, like I said,
how far were the police away from him when they shot him to death?
I've been looking for that on the internet, and I have yet to ascertain.
There's not enough information to really be able to make a decision here. If this
knife's a deadly weapon.
Yeah, I mean, if this person had another person, that they were. Thank you for the call tonight. We're out of time, but if this person had another person hostage, then obviously the cops had to do something. However, on the other hand, if he's just standing alone, talking crazy and holding a knife, and the cops are 20 feet away and they blast him, then he was not really any danger, right? There's
they
to
say
some
it's
extent
21 feet actually.
Is it 21 feet?
No, that's the longest of distances. Yeah,
with a knife before somebody can shoot. We'll see you tomorrow. FreeTalkLive.com.
Have you ever? Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippies! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your get intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
My name is Jacob Hornberger. I'm president of the Future of Freedom Foundation, which Congressman Ron Paul awarded for having an outstanding freedom website. Write us at fff@fff.org, and we'll send you a free 3-month subscription to our monthly journal of libertarian essays and our booklet, Economic Liberty in the Constitution, which George Mason University economics professor Walter Williams praised in a recent column. That's fff@fff.org.
You may already know about the Free Talk Live audio-on-demand phone line at 641-793-9660. Did you know that not only can you listen to Free Talk Live via your phone, you can also leave a message and have it delivered to Free Talk Live's hosts? To leave us your thoughts, just dial 641-793-9660. That's 641-793-9660. Press 2 for Free Talk Live, and then hit 0 to leave your message.
The latest episode of Declare Your Independence is next, after the news, here on the Liberty Radio Network, LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Tuesday, August 1st, 2017. Silver is trading at $16.73 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,266 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 4.6 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $2,800. Antiwar.com reports moving to get more overtly involved in the country where most of their efforts in recent years have been covert. The U.S. on Monday announced a new round of sanctions against Venezuela's President Nicolas Maduro, which they say was meant to express disapproval over the weekend's election. In an attempt to consolidate full control over the government by the United Socialist Party, Maduro organized the election to establish a National Constituent Assembly, which would have the power to overrule the existing parliament and which is being stacked with Maduro allies. allies. With public calls to boycott by materially all opposition groups, the vote is heavily contested, with official claims of around 8 million voters, more than double the estimates of independent analysts. The high formal turnout and wide margins of victory are seen as the Maduro government trying to give the proceedings an air of legitimacy. The U.S. government has been eager to insert itself into the affairs of Latin America for generations, and this looks no different, with the administration seemingly salivating at the prospect of declaring Venezuela an illegal government and a dictatorship, and vowing that democracy, by which they doubtless mean U.S. intervention, will prevail. Yet the Venezuelan opposition isn't eager to see the U.S. throw itself into the middle of all of this, warning against U.S. efforts to impose an oil embargo on the country, which is apparently the go-to suggestion of Senator Marco Rubio. Indeed, many in the opposition believe that anything the U.S. does will be bad news for them, as it will allow Maduro, with at least some credibility, to argue that he is a victim of U.S. imperialism, and that suggestion will split the substantial bloc of Latin American countries who are critical of Maduro's actions. In making this somehow America's problem, the Trump administration sets itself up as a convenient scapegoat for Maduro and harms the credibility of genuine Venezuelan opposition groups by allowing the Venezuelan government to paint them as secretly in league with the United States. For nearly 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases and have permanently removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports a federal judge on Monday found Joe Arpaio, former sheriff in Maricopa County, Arizona, guilty of ignoring a judge's order to stop racial profiling in immigration enforcement. U.S. District Judge Susan Bolton said Arpaio is guilty of contempt of court for failing to comply with an order from U.S. District Judge G. Murray Snow in 2011 to stop detaining people based only on the belief that they are in the United States illegally. Arpaio, the former Republican sheriff of Maricopa County, Arizona for 24 years, was a staunch opponent of undocumented immigration and instituted policies that led some supporters to refer to him as the toughest sheriff in America. Arpaio's lawyers argued that Snow's order was unclear and that willful intention was required to prove criminal contempt. The former sheriff issued a statement to the Arizona Republic saying he plans to appeal the ruling so that he can get a trial by jury. Bolton has scheduled sentencing for October 5th. In 2115 New England, there are no borders, no states, and no regulations, yet never has a more peaceful and prosperous place existed. But Mr. Drake's security company has seen better days. Faced with the prospect of waning power, Mr. Drake intends to replace the anarchy of New England with a government. Anarchy in New England by Joe Jarvis is available from Amazon.com and all major bookstores. Reuters reports President Donald Trump ousted recently hired White House Communication Chief Anthony Scaramucci on Monday over an obscene tirade, according to sources familiar with the decision, in the latest staff upheaval for the 6-month-old administration. The move, coming just 10 days after the president named Scaramucci to the post, took place on the first day of work for Trump's new chief of staff, retired Marine Corps General John Kelly, who sources said was seeking to impose order on a White House riven with factions and backbiting. A source close to Trump said the president fretted over the weekend about what to do about Scaramucci, calling his advisors to ask their opinions, all of whom told him the tough-talking aide had to go. Trump was reportedly annoyed about Scaramucci's lewd comments to the New Yorker magazine published last Thursday. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
America is at a crossroads on many issues, leading many to ask, is it time for the president to blow the silver horn left behind by the Founding Fathers in case the country ever needed them? Of course, the horn, which has been sitting in the Oval Office since 1817, has never been used by a commander-in-chief, but many Americans think now might be the time to summon our forefathers. Which Founding Fathers would come back?
All of them. Look, when you have a bug problem, you call the exterminator. When you have an America problem, you call the Founding Fathers. They know what to do.
We have to keep in mind the Founding Fathers left us with a warning. If you blow the horn with less than pure intentions, it will turn to tin and can never be used.
But a president has to take risks, have the courage to admit that his administration is not all-knowing, and blow that magic silver horn to summon someone who is.
Yes, but what if we become too reliant on them and they disappear after the next new moon, as was written?
This is the Onion News Network.
And now, live from the studios of Freedom's Phoenix, Ernest Hancock.
Believe me when I say we have a difficult time ahead of us. But if we are to be prepared for it, we must first shed our fear of it. I stand here without fear because I remember that I am here not because of the path that lies before me, but because of the path that lies behind me. I remember that for 100 years we have fought these machines. And after a century of war, I remember that which matters most. We are still here! Today, let us make them remember. We are not afraid!
Yeah, no fear, no fear, no fear, no fear, no fear here, and declare your independence. Me, Ernest Hancock, here in Phoenix, Arizona, from the BEA beautiful studios of Freedoms of the Nest, Phoenix, Yeah, that's better than some. Okay, what we're going to do today, Derek Slopey's in and visiting. He came in from DEF CON and Hacker Fest in Las Vegas, baby. And what he's going to do for us, last night we had multi-hour of dinner yakking of Bitcoin. A lot of the guys that have tried Bitcoin got in, got out, kind of, need to know more detail, more understanding, or whatever. And we went through this, and then, of course, it built up into what's going to happen today. What happened at midnight last night? We just got up. I don't even know. We're going to find out, and we're going to share it with you. Then Derek and I are going around with some of the guys, and we're looking at, like land, a place. What's it like in the low desert? What's it like in the higher desert? What's it like in the mountain? What's it like? We're going to do the big tour. We have a lot of guys and myself been around the state. And we're going to be looking for, some place, do something, be somebody. So we're working on that. We'll share that with you. But today, all things Bitcoin. Did you check the news yet, Derek? What's up?
I have not yet. Looking into it.
All right. So we're going to do, after the first segment here, we'll get all caught up. And we were up late. Fortunately, we are up. Well, what is it we're going to, expect before you look? What do you think?
Well, at some point, there's going to be a Bitcoin fork. Today, I believe, and I'm not sure what the timing is on that yet. So I've been on the road for a week or so, and a little out of the loop.
All right, we're going to find. We've been talking to a lot of the guys. We've been trying to understand and get in detail the math and the improvements for the future and what was necessary and not, and opinion. What did you think the two major sides represented on this Bitcoin fork thing? There was those that wanted blank, and the other ones wanted not blank, and then and why?
Well, I guess SegWit. I mean, there's a side that wants SegWit, and there's which is segregated witness, which is a different way of presenting signatures in the blockchain, or in the transaction. So they say that with SegWit we can shorten up the transactions and fit more transactions into blocks. Some people don't like SegWit, so there is a huge division right now, and I think that some people are going to go their separate ways today.
So, which means a fork, and that means that what? I mean, I saw that if they go to a different Bitcoin and keep the other one, like when they split Ethereum, you got one of each. So did everybody just double up on their Bitcoin?
Kind of. I mean, that doesn't mean that it has double the value. Doesn't even mean that it has the full value. The value of the price of Bitcoin, or on either fork is still speculative, partially speculative based on some other factors, but
It's worth what somebody will pay for it. That's what it's worth, you know.
Yeah.
But what is the went through a lot of people talking about a lot of trash, and it kind of really came down to Tone Vase versus Roger Ver. As celebs advocating one or the other. But there are other changes in there that I didn't know about. I've seen charts where it shows, well, this protocol is taken off, and this one's being adopted a little bit, and this one, and that's by whom or what? What is it adopting it, and how are they? How does this relate to mining and so on? What are they talking about?
Yeah, it really comes, the predominant fork is going to be basically where does the mining power go? Does it go on to one side or the other side? Now, even with a very, very low amount of miners working one of the forks, that lower mining fork would still exist. There's been forks in the past in Bitcoin where